Chapter 1399. If a titled Douluo came to the godly realm, they wouldn't be able to survive for long. Their soul skills would probably be like child's play. They wouldn't even be able to chop down an ancient tree. Nuclear weapons in Huiyuhao's previous life would be much less powerful in the godly realm. Energy suppression and rules restrictions were just like that. Similarly, if a monster like the infernal black lion unleashed such an attack in the Douluo world, it would be many times more powerful. It could probably destroy half of the Martial Spirit Federation's political district easily. What did that mean? If the infernal black lion wanted to destroy the Martial Spirit Federation, it could easily destroy it within 10 moves. The Martial Spirit Federation's 3 major political districts took up 2/7 of the entire Douluo continent. The Sun-Moon Empire took up 1/7, while the remaining 4/7 was ocean. This was the reason why Wang Feng was wary of the Silver Dragon. If she was serious, she could easily destroy the Martial Spirit Federation. Wang Feng estimated that the Silver Dragon's abilities were close to that of a Class 1 god, even if she hadn't recovered from her injuries. Now that she had consumed the Dragon God's true blood, she was at least a peak Class 1 god. In terms of levels, she had gone from rank 130 to rank 140. This infernal black lion's abilities were around rank 120. It wasn't difficult for the gods in the godly realm to destroy a planar world like the Douluo world. For godly kings, it would only take them a few moves to destroy the Douluo world. Thinking of this, Wang Feng felt that when he fought with the God King of Destruction and the others during the War of the Gods, those God Kings must have suppressed their own strength. Otherwise, the Douluo world wouldn't be able to withstand their attacks. In other words, the Douluo world had the same rules as the godly realm. Even if the gods descended, they would be weakened to a certain extent. As a result, these gods wouldn't be able to destroy the Douluo world easily. Oh, again? Just as he was thinking, Wang Feng suddenly retracted his thoughts and looked at the infernal black lion. At this moment, the infernal black lion still hadn't attacked. However, after Wang Feng finished speaking, he attacked again. It was the same attack as before. He didn't seem to believe it. However, Wang Feng shook his head and looked at the 6 beams of light shooting towards him. He was neither too fast nor too slow, as if he had already anticipated this attack. The moment it landed on his body, the realm of emptiness was activated. His surroundings seemed to have turned into a pure white world made of dotted lines. He felt as though his soul and consciousness had entered another layer of space. He could stand at a higher point and look at everything in front of him. He could foresee everything that would happen in this battle. That was right. This was the complete form of the riddle. 10,000 years ago, Wang Feng did not have a deep understanding of the riddle. He could only vaguely sense the future at certain times. In battle, he couldn't use the riddle to foresee everything. He could only use it to cultivate and increase his spiritual power. However, 10,000 years later, Wang Feng's understanding of the riddle had already reached perfection. The reason why he couldn't use the doppelganger was because he didn't have enough spiritual power. Furthermore, using the riddle of front in battle was extremely taxing on one's primordial spirit, or in other words, one's soul. Even if he could foresee the battle, the weakening of his soul would not be able to change anything. But things were different now. After obtaining the inextinguishable soul, Wang Feng's origin energy continued to grow stronger. No matter how weak his soul became, as long as it wasn't destroyed, it would quickly recover. In other words, Wang Feng could use the inextinguishable soul to continuously use the riddle of front in battle. The premise was that the foresight wouldn't completely deplete Wang Feng's soul. Some foresight situations were too complicated. With Wang Feng's current spiritual power, he wouldn't be able to foresee them even if he used up all his spiritual power. For example, the attack of a godly king or the changes in the future that could change the greater world or the universe. He couldn't foresee those through the riddle of front. However, with Wang Feng's current spiritual power, it wasn't difficult for him to foresee the attacks of the ominous black lion. Looking at it from this perspective, the ominous black lion couldn't even hurt him. In just one day, the changes were so terrifying. Perhaps the ominous black lion couldn't have imagined that in just one day, he would turn from a hunter to a prey. When Wang Feng appeared behind the ominous black lion again, he felt fear. Then, Wang Feng didn't let the ominous black lion dodge again. Instead, he punched the ominous black lion without saying a word. This allowed Wang Feng to feel the strength of this body again. After obtaining the inextinguishable soul, how strong would this avatar become? A terrifying wave of energy swept through the air like a sea of clouds, and the infernal black lion was caught completely off guard. Its massive body crashed to the ground as a streak of light, and cracks began to appear all over its body. This strength is already 70 to 80% of my original body's full strength. Wang Feng sighed. With the riddle affront, it should be difficult for anyone below the godly king to hurt me now that I'm at level 80. His cultivation path was very complicated. Every martial soul was very special. His strength couldn't be judged by a simple level. Thinking up to this point, Wang Feng decided to kill this black lion gang and wait for a day or two in one go. He would then form another divine ring and rush to level 100. Then, Wang Feng wouldn't be afraid of the godly realm or the dark demon realm. Even if he couldn't, he could easily escape. Even if Zhu Qing and the others were in danger, Wang Feng's avatar was strong enough to protect them. However, Wang Feng estimated that after reaching level 100 and forming the third divine ring, his cultivation speed would slow down. The further he progressed, the slower it would be. Impossible. Who are you? Your aura is so weak. How can it be? I don't believe such terrifying strength. Which plane did you come from? You're definitely not from this world. At this moment, the ominous black lion roared angrily. I'm a battle beast of the demonic emperor army. I was ordered to clean up this area. Who are you? You don't have the right to know, Wang Feng said calmly. I don't have the right to know. The ominous black lion was stunned. Then it sneered. You were still running away from me yesterday. Are you going to tell me that you were just acting? I don't know what you did to obtain such strength, but you avoided my question and didn't answer. You didn't have any doubts about the demonic emperor army either. This means that you know about the demonic emperor army and the dark demon realm. You're not from the dark demon realm or the godly realm. Then, there's only one possibility. You're from a plane under the godly realm. How laughable, how laughable. I was actually beaten to such a state by an ant from a minor plane. The nightmare obsidian lion laughed loudly. However, most of the minor worlds and the lower planes of the divine world are under the control of my dark demon realm. The passageway to the divine world has long been severed. Yet, you were able to come to the divine world and obtain such great power. Unfortunately, your understanding of my dark demon realm is too shallow. Do you know that you have already exposed yourself when you fought me? Wang Feng didn't expect this beast to be so smart. It actually thought of this. Wang Fengxin was shocked when he heard the last sentence. Chapter 1400. Wang Feng did not expect the Black Nightmare Lion to be so smart. Actually, Wang Feng had expected that he would expose himself if he fought the Black Nightmare Lion head-on. When Godslayer said that the Black Nightmare Lion belonged to the demonic emperor army, Wang Feng knew that he would be exposed if he fought. But it did not matter. Wang Feng was not afraid. However, Wang Feng did not expect the Black Nightmare Lion to know that he was from a subordinate realm. So what? Wang Feng said indifferently without batting an eyelid. The Black Nightmare Lion was lying on the ground like a collapsed mountain, embedded in the ground like a mural. At this moment, he was gasping for breath. His broken body could not stop his energy from leaking out. So what? The God Realm was defeated in the Void Battleground. The God Realm has fallen and King City was destroyed by Yen Wang. Most of the gods have become prisoners. Weak beings like you who came from the subordinate planes of the Divine Realm can't even survive. Once my army send a random team over, you will end up the same as those gods. The Black Nightmare Lion's words shocked Wang Fengxin. The God Realm had fallen? F***CK. This was the God Realm. It cannot be that bad, right? It was an upper God Realm. Even if it was not the best in Wang Feng's knowledge, how could it fall just like that? King City was destroyed by Yen Wang with one strike. Wang Feng had heard the name yin, wang once or twice. Whether it was Godslayer or the Soul Demons, they all had this name. It was the symbol of the supreme existence in the dark demon realm. It was the leader of the 9 great demon gods and the overlord of the dark demon realm, someone who surpasses the king of gods. Wang Fengxin gave a vague definition. Wang Feng did not doubt the Black Nightmare Lion's words. A monster of this level could move freely in the god realm. This was enough to explain everything. After hearing this news, Wang Fengxin was worried. The god realm had fallen and King City had been destroyed. Then, what happened to Rongrong and the rest? And the Void Battleground. This was the second time Wang Feng had heard of this place, because it was also the place to check in. Wang Feng had figured out a set of rules from the points given by the system. The places given by the system seemed to be the turning points of many important events and were very dangerous. I have 2 choices now. The first is to follow the information given by the Black Nightmare Lion and look for them immediately, but I will have to face the Demon Emperor army. The second is to cultivate for a few days. In 3 to 4 days, I believe I can break through level 80 and reach level 100. By then, even if it is the Imperial Demon Emperor army, I'll be able to deal with it alone. Wang Fengxin thought. Wang Feng had previously thought of the second possibility. Anyway, a few days would pass, although several years might have passed in the lower realm. But it did not matter. However, based on what the Onyx Lion had just said, the realm of the gods had already fallen. That meant that Rong and the others were in grave danger. Then, let alone 3 or 4 days, even if a day or an hour passed, it would be hard to predict what would happen. What a load of knot to you. Thinking of this, Wang Feng suddenly said, I know about the demonic emperor army, but the divinity is so powerful. How could they fall? Before I came to the divine world, I heard that there were several great divine kings in the divine world, and there were also very powerful first-tier gods. How could they die so easily? What a joke. Are you trying to scare me with these words? Make me submit? Do you think that's possible? The Black Nightmare Lion was not angry, but happy. He was not afraid that the lion would doubt or not believe him. He was afraid that the other party would kill him without asking any questions. On the contrary, since this week being asked such a question, it meant that he was afraid. Ha! The Black Nightmare Lion laughed coldly. God Kings? The 5 God Kings of the Gods Realm Committee? You are really ignorant. You know nothing about the God Realm. Let me tell you. Half a year ago, 2 God Kings led more than 10 level 1 gods and hundreds of gods to the border of the 2 worlds. There was a battle in the void wasteland of the universe. There were 2 good and evil God Kings. There was even a level 1 god with 2 god positions whose combat power was comparable to a God King's. Even with such combat power, they were still defeated. The God Realm suffered a great loss. Then, the 5 demon gods of the Demon Emperor army broke the barrier of the God Realm and led the army in. Yes, the King City of the God Realm still had some combat power. For example, the God King with 2 god positions Tang, San, and the remaining level 1 gods, like the elemental gods, especially the water and ice gods, resisted stubbornly. The God King Tang, San was able to fight with Shang Demon God. Unfortunately, the Lord of Hell came and shattered the boundary wall of the King City with 1 palm. The Black Nightmare Lion seemed to want to prove that what he said was true. He opened his mouth and spat out a huge black curtain in the void. Let me show you. This is what we recorded that day. This is a historical moment in the Dark Demon Realm. It will appear in the consciousness of countless Dark Demon Realm beings. Let them know that the God Realm has fallen. Wang Feng glanced at it. On the black screen, holographic images were being displayed. It looked like it was real. Such a huge image happened in the sky. The strength of an individual could only turn into a faint light to add some color and light to the image. When the last palm fell, it really covered the sky and covered the sun. However, no one could be seen. They watched it all in silence. I see. Wang Fengxin seemed to have confirmed it. The image could not be faked. Have you thought it through? The Black Nightmare Lion smiled confidently. I have received news that the Demonic Emperor Army will send the 3,867th Division Deity Hunter team over. I see that you have just entered the God Realm. You are not that loyal to the God realm. It is not too late to beg for mercy. Otherwise, you will end up worse than being a prisoner. Oh. Wang Feng nodded and punched the black nightmare lion's head. At the same time, he said the word die. Not only did the punch smash the black nightmare lion's head, but also killed its soul with the chaotic 8 sounds. The strength of the chaotic 8 sounds was closely related to Wang Feng's soul. After obtaining the undying origin, Wang Feng's soul and spirit were greatly improved again. Compared to his physical strength, it was even more terrifying. After all, he had cultivated the riddle of the word front. After the black nightmare lion died, the god-slaying spine flew out of Wang Feng's body and made a metallic mechanical sound. God-slaying core discovered. Absorb and retain it? Oh. Wang Feng paused and looked at the black nightmare lion's corpse. He could vaguely see a circular spine similar to the god-slaying spine in the black nightmare lion's shattered head. It glowed faintly. You can absorb it? Wang Feng did not know much about the Dark Demon World. According to Article 37 of the Dark Demon World's Magical Machine Planes, Magical Machine Technology Legacy Law, a god-slaying spine of any grade can absorb the god-slaying spine of the host who has died. It can absorb the core and obtain knowledge and information. At the same time, it can retain the host's memories, knowledge, authentication, and the process of death. Chapter 1401. Wang Feng was stunned. This thing was a little scary. If it was absorbed by the Imperial Demon Army warriors, wouldn't they be able to understand his situation through the core and the memories of the Black Nightmare Lion? He even knew exactly how he was going to make his move. Damn, no wonder the God Realm lost. The Dark Demon Realm was obviously much stronger than the God Realm. Can I crush this God-slaying core in a powder? Wang Feng stared at the black-ringed spine in the Onyx Lion's brain. Analyzing model analysis based on host strength, construct a simple world structure, generate atmosphere, dark energy, condense core, core model upgrade completed. Matching with current number of God-slaying cores. Compatibility, 1%, 10%, 60%, 68%. Unable to complete higher compatibility. Conducting force bombardment experiment. Deducing explosion reaction. The god-slaying spine spread out in the air and softly turned into balls of light and shadow. They looked like pixels, but they quickly condensed into a solid form. An identical circular spine appeared on the screen. Then it quickly exploded. It turned into endless darkness. Analysis result. You can crush it. However, according to preliminary calculations, once crushed, the dark energy within the core will explode. It won't hurt you, but it will cause spatial instability. It might enter a broken spatial rift and fall into endless darkness. The energy released will cause life to mutate. At the same time, the countless knowledge stored within the core will enter the spatial rift and drift into the endless universe. Then, the god-slaying spine gave a long string of strange data and symbols. It looked very professional. Wang Feng couldn't understand any of it. However, the result was obvious. Next time, please give me the result directly. Wang Feng shook his head. That meant that if he crushed this thing, it wouldn't affect him at all. However, it would bring him to another space. This might have something to do with the technology and energy of this core. From a certain perspective, this god-slaying core was everything about the god-slaying spine. It was also the manifestation of the Black Nightmare Lion's strength. It controlled everything about the Black Nightmare Lion. It didn't look like a pure energy body. Instead, it was a magical machine with many special materials added to it. It was more stable and powerful than the various energy cores that humans cultivated. It even involved a civilization. Moreover, this civilization was a subordinate plane of the Dark Demon Realm. The Douluo divine world controlled hundreds of small planes. However, there were very few small planes that had a complete civilization. Among these civilizations, there were very few that could be considered powerful. For example, the Douluo world was considered powerful among the small planes under the jurisdiction of the God Realm. It also had a real civilization. Unfortunately, the civilization form was too weak and slow. Even after 10,000 years, the system of soul masters hadn't changed at all. Even with the emergence of new soul tool technology, it would still take many years for it to fundamentally change the structure of society. How could it be considered powerful? The energy of the world became the greatest limitation. Coupled with the deformity of the cultivation method, there were no external factors. One could only rely on the accumulation of countless years to slowly become stronger. Absorbing. The god-slaying spine. The speed was very fast. In less than 10 seconds, the absorption was complete. God-slaying. A higher level of information and knowledge base? This Onyx Lion's level was indeed much higher than Black Peak's. Black Peak was a high-level cannon fodder that had been sent to the Douluo world. His level was around level 100. This god-slaying lion was around level 120. It was definitely not at the level of cannon fodder. It could follow the Imperial Demon Army into the God Realm to clean up. It was definitely more powerful. No need to upload. Wang Feng said. The so-called headquarters should be the central control center of the god-slaying spine in the Dark Demon world. This meant that the Dark Demon world was getting more and more powerful. If I don't upload, I will be recognized as an unregistered citizen and will be wanted by the central god-slaying. I didn't upload when my identity was recognized last time. I have already received a warning. If I don't upload after absorbing the other god-slaying cores, then what are you afraid of? I have a more powerful system here. Your central god-slaying is nothing. If it dares to want you, you can find the system. Wang Feng said, didn't the system use you once before? Why didn't you upload the information that the system used you? Wang Feng was talking about the system using god-slaying to open the channel. God-slaying was silent for a long time. I didn't do it willingly. I was forced to use it. Wang Feng smiled and shook his head. This god-slaying was actually an intelligence, and it was a more advanced kind. It was just that it served life. But the system was obviously more powerful. I have my reasons for not uploading the information. Don't worry. Wang Feng said slowly, don't worry. You won't become an unregistered citizen. You will become a noble in god-slaying, because you still don't know what kind of existence the life you serve is. Wang Fengxin smiled secretly. He was referring to the identity of Dai Demon God. Unfortunately, this god-slaying was too low level. There were no detailed records of Dai Demon God in its knowledge base. Time to leave. Wang Feng took a deep breath. It was another matter whether they could find the silver dragon or not. The most important thing now was to go to the King City of the Divine World and find the headquarters of the Imperial Demon Army in the Divine World. He wanted to see how Rong and the rest were doing. According to the information of the God-slaying Corps, after the fall of the Divine World, the gods were captured. Some were sent to the Dark Demon World, and some were left in the Divine World. Then, they went to the Void Battleground. However, the God-slaying Corps didn't give much specific information about the Void Battleground. It didn't know the specific location, because that place was a battlefield that only the elites of the Imperial Demon Army could enter. And they had to be fearless of death. Black Nightmare could only be considered half an elite, but he was afraid of death and didn't want to go to that kind of battlefield. Errands like cleaning up the remaining gods of the God Realm were much easier to handle. Several auras are coming from the front. It's the warriors of the Imperial Demon Army. Their god-slaying Corps seems to have sensed me and wants to establish contact with me. God-slaying suddenly said, "Do you refuse? Do you retreat?" God-slaying was probably talking about the god-slaying team mentioned by the Dark Demon Lion. The Imperial Demon Army was a huge army in the Dark Demon world. It was a military body, not a legion. It had tens of thousands of legions. They fought in countless small planes under the Dark Demon world and were responsible for solving many plane problems. In terms of internal structure, it was even bigger than the lower world's empires and the Federation. The so-called Deity Hunter Squad was an organization that had been set up specifically to deal with the remaining gods of the Divine Realm in the aftermath of the battle. They were usually transferred from the internal legions. Most of them were the elite warriors of their respective legions. Their strength was not to be underestimated. Furthermore, the demonic Black Lion belonged to one of the small teams, the team's Dark Demon Beast. However, Wang Feng shook his head calmly and said, "No need. Establish contact with them and tell them your identity. Just say that your main body is the Dai demon god. Dark demon world, your demon god is back. Chapter 1402. The God-Slayer demon obeyed Wang Feng's order unconditionally. To it, Wang Feng's existence was just a service target. Moreover, after absorbing the core of the ominous obsidian lion, it had improved. In Wang Feng's words, it was like a new CPU. Not only did its storage capacity increase, but its authority level also increased. Of course, that was only relative to before. Communication complete. They will be here in 1 minute. Wang Feng nodded. Then, he used martial soul possession and transformed into Dai. Wang Feng was very experienced as an old spy. Now that he had a certain level of strength, he was confident in disguising himself. Otherwise, it would be too easy for him to be exposed. 1 minute later, 3 tall soul demons appeared in front of Wang Feng. These 3 soul demons were very different from the ones Wang Feng saw in the Douluo world. First of all, although they were tall, they were more like humans. They had special black-red bone wings on their backs. Their skin was pale white instead of black-red. Their facial features were 70% similar to humans. The only difference was their ears and eyes. Their ears were round, with 3 on each side connected to the back of their heads. Their eyes had no pupils, only a faint glow. Their bodies were covered with silver-black armor. The surface of the armor had crystal-like patterns, which looked like some kind of energy flowing back. They looked extraordinary. The soul demons in the Douluo world were more like monsters that hadn't completely evolved, but these soul demons gave off a very strong sense of impact just from their physical forms alone. Whether it was their life force or their sensory organs, they gave off a powerful and exuberant feeling. They also had a certain sense of beauty. Based on Wang Feng's initial feeling, their strength should be similar to that of the ominous obsidian lion. All 3 of them were male. "Why don't you kneel when you see me?" Wang Feng took the initiative and said coldly. "Also, who is the leader in charge of your military department? Tell him to come and see me quickly." The 3 soul demons were clearly stunned. They came after receiving the signal from the ominous obsidian lion. It was the ominous obsidian lion's attack signal. The ominous obsidian lion did not take the initiative to send a signal to them. Instead, its attack would automatically be transmitted to the same Godslayer team. That was why they had rushed over here. The demonic railgun that the Black Nightmare Lion fired was very powerful. Once it was used, it meant that the Black Nightmare Lion had encountered a powerful opponent. Unexpectedly, when he arrived, he did not sense the Black Nightmare Lion's God Killer. Instead, he sensed another God Killer. Moreover, this God Slayer even claimed that the main object it served was called Dai Devil God. What a joke. Dai Devil God had been dead for God knows how many years. How could there be a deicide serving Dai Devil God? The 3 soul demons immediately used God Slayer to communicate through their consciousnesses and quickly search their databases for all the information about Dai. The entire process took less than a second. There was too little information about Dai Demon God. They were the elites of the Imperial Demon Emperor army, but it was easy for them to get information about Dai Demon God. Dai Devil God, once a god in the divine world who possessed dark divine power. Later, he fell into the dark devil world and became one of the 9 great devil gods of the dark devil world. He possessed the darkest origin power of the dark devil world. Later, he returned to the divine world and was killed by the divine king of the divine world. A brief message flowed through the minds of the 3 soul demons. Finally, the soul demon in the middle spoke. His name was Mo-Hai, and he was the captain of this deity hunter squad. He was in charge of clearing out this large area. The squad had a total of 50 members. They were the closest to the squad. "Boss, it must be fake. Dai Devil God is so powerful. How could he use such a low-level God Slayer?" The soul demon on the left immediately transmitted his voice before Mo-Hai spoke. "I think it might be a remnant of the divine world in disguise." Moreover, the obsidian lion was obviously killed by him. He used this low-level God Slayer to absorb the obsidian lion's God Slayer and covered up the whole process of the lion's death. Only he knows what happened. At the same time, the soul demon on the right immediately transmitted his voice. I just checked. This God Slayer model should be a soul demon who participated in the Realm Fall plan. Most of the soul demons who participated in this plan were low-level forces in the Imperial Demon Emperor army. Few of them could cultivate a God Slayer, so it was easy to check. Moreover, that soul demon should not be this one. So this strange life is very likely to be a fake. The two deputies answered affirmatively in unison. Are you suspecting me? At this time, Wang Feng seemed to have expected this. The 14 pairs of light wings on his back spread out, exuding a majestic airflow. Two different airflows of energy rose from Wang Feng's body, as if forming a closed circuit. Several golden and black energy halos appeared behind him, and his momentum changed greatly. Humph! Wang Feng snorted coldly. His spiritual power was released like a torrential sea of stars, and the word tremor was heard. The three soul demons' brains buzzed, and the god-slaying ridge even directly issued a warning of danger. For a moment, the two deputies were immediately stunned. Demon God, please have mercy. Emohai, the leader, was shocked. He immediately half-knelt, crossed his hands over his forehead, and lowered his body. You two are completely fooling around. At the same time, he transmitted his voice angrily in his mind. Use your brains and think. Haven't you overlooked the most important problem? Even the lowest level God Slayer can only be authenticated and bound by a life form of the Dark Demon Realm. In other words, even if he is not Died Devil God, he is definitely a life form of our Dark Demon Realm. Also, feel his aura and energy fluctuations. I have never seen a demon god, but in my perception, in this world, this one in front of us seems to be the center of heaven and earth. The 14 pairs of light wings on his back contain extremely terrifying origin power. Emohai transmitted his voice here. Emohai motioned for them to look at the Black Nightmare Lion. He could not help but feel a burst of fear in his heart. Can't you see how the Black Nightmare Lion died? The overwhelming Black Lion must have been suspicious of his identity and was destroyed by the other party as a result. I don't want to be buried in this world. Shut up, all of you. All we need to do is to respectfully bring this demon god to the headquarters. Naturally, there will be more powerful high-rank soul demons to screen him. Don't ask for trouble. As the leader of the god-slaying team, although he was also insignificant in the Imperial Demon Army, Emohai was superior. Obviously, Emohai was smarter. Died Devil God status was too high. Even if he was suspicious, he was not someone they could suspect. Hearing Emohai's words, the two soul demons immediately came to their senses. They were ashamed of their own cleverness just now. My lord, we are the god-hunting warriors of the 3,867th Legion. Our supreme leader is Demon King Mahabhashya. We are currently in the King City of the Divine Realm discussing with the other Demon Kings how to eliminate the remaining old, weak, and sick in the Divine Realm. Emohai replied carefully. Take me to the King City of the Divine Realm. Wang Feng waved his sleeve and said coldly, You are too weak. You are not qualified to talk to me. Chapter 1403. Emohai immediately nodded. No matter what, if they brought this demon god back to King City, even if it was a fake, there would be a big shot to deal with it. King City of the Divine World was not far from here. Furthermore, the god-slaying formation had its own dark space conduction, which allowed it to move a long distance. It was even more convenient than a portal. However, the prerequisite was that they must have the coordinates. The vastness of the Divine World was not something the lower realms could compare with. Simply put, the ancient forest that Wang Feng was in was already more than half the size of the Douluo world. If it was only used for flying, it would take a long time to fly in the Divine World. Now that King City of the Divine World had fallen, the Dark Demon Army had entered the Divine World. They had used this time to establish a large number of dark space coordinates, which could eliminate the remaining soldiers and the remaining lives in the Divine World in a short time. At the same time, King City of the Divine World. After the destruction of the world, King City of the Divine World was no longer as glorious as it used to be. The huge city was like an expensive ancient painting that had been graffitied. It was extremely dilapidated. The 6 rainbow-like corridors that connected King City did not disappear. The Divine World was very big. Although it did not have many lives, the gods knew how to enjoy life. Such a huge city, other than showing the majesty of the Divine World, could also be used as a weapon. The royal city itself was a divine artifact. In the center of King City, in a palace that was embellished with bright divine light, densely packed figures were scattered inside the palace. Among them, there were many powerful soul demons. They were wearing armor and clothes that were completely different from the color of the palace. They were chatting sparsely. The Divine World is really a tough nut to crack. The various laws of King City have been destroyed, but the origin of this world is still very strong. Also, the key of regulation that controls the lower realms is nowhere to be found. Demon Godshong has left us with a big problem, and those gods, even if they were captured, they are still tough to deal with. Although we killed some of them are really hard to deal with. Isn't that so? Wouldn't it be better if King Yin killed all the gods in one go? Sai, you can't say that. Although our King Yin is strong, that attack took a lot of energy. If he does everything, what's the use of us subordinates? Then Black Crow, tell me, how should we break through this gate of Monarch City? This is the forbidden region divine wall of the deity realm. It's jointly controlled by the 5 great god kings. The star core of the deity realm should be within it. It supports everything in the deity realm and also contains the laws of the hundreds of small planes beneath it. However, it's impossible for the 5 god kings to open it. The mission that Devil Godshong gave us is to use Godslayer to analyze 30% of the seals on this forbidden domain divine wall. But our deicide only has 18 cores. Even if we add all of them together, it's still very difficult to calculate and analyze a restriction of this level. 30% is really going to cost me my life. Hey Kong, what's the situation with the first-tier gods you've imprisoned? What else could it be? The Yama Lord had said that the first-tier gods of the god realm were all capable of fighting, and it would be a pity to kill them directly. It would be best if they could take them into the dark demon realm. He even gave us 3 days. If we could persuade them, it would be a great merit. If we kill them directly, it would be no merit at all. But those first-tier gods are very tough. How could they submit to the dark demon realm? It's really a pity to kill them. Moreover, it's not easy to kill them, especially the 2 gods. If no demon god intervened, it would be too difficult for us demon monarchs to kill them. No, tell me, why are the 2 of them so strong? One of them is ice, and the other is water. Their vitality is also terrifyingly tenacious. I heard that it wasn't easy for us to win in the Void battleground. Several secret messages were intertwined in the palace. In front of the palace was a giant gate that was at least 1,000 meters tall. It broke through the palace and reached the sky. It was also a symbol of the king's city. Inside the palace were the leaders of the various legions of the Imperial Devil Army. The Imperial Devil Army had mobilized hundreds of legions to invade the deity realm. The lowest level of each legion had at least 100,000 warriors. This was already very exaggerated. Although the Imperial Devil Army had tens of thousands of legions, their target was not only the deity realm. In addition, they would also be used to guard the dark demon realm. Only 1/10 of the Imperial Devil Army had been mobilized. Among this 1/10, there was also the need to send subordinates to the various planes. The leader of each army was known as the Demon Lord. At this moment, one of the legion leaders was suddenly stunned. Boss Yao, why are you in a daze? Can you give us some advice? Otherwise, are we just going to watch? Another seemed to have seen it and asked. The demon monarch called Boss Yao was silent for a while. Then he said, I just received news from a small team of deity hunters in my legion. If I tell you, your eyeballs might fall out of their sockets. Hearing this, many demon monarchs were interested. They were all demon monarchs who ruled at least one Imperial Devil Army. They were also the top existences in the dark demon realm. Any one of them could sweep through many small planes and worlds. They had fought for countless years and followed the ups and downs of the dark demon realm. It was difficult for them to have the various emotions that only mortal beings would have. For example, surprise. Even conquering the divine world could not be considered a surprise to them. For example, from the beginning of this plan to the implementation to the final invasion of the divine world to the success they had already deduced for countless years. There was no surprise to speak of, because this was something they had already expected. Even if they failed, they would not be surprised, because in the universe, there would be variables in any deduction. It was just that the Yama Lord was too strong. He was so strong that he could make these variables infinitely small. Tell us about it. What news? Many demon monarchs were interested. They turned to look at Basya. Basya thought for a while and said, according to the news from this small team of deity hunters, they found a fallen demon god in the dark demon realm. Yes, I believe everyone has guessed it. It's that demon god Dai. Hearing this, all the demon monarchs were stunned. They were silent for a long time. At the same time, their eyes were slightly shining. It was as if they were reminiscing about something or someone. The sudden news caused these demon monarchs to have a rare emotion that they would not easily have in hundreds of years. It was too king shocking. Demon god Dai, a demon monarch, suddenly came back to his senses. How many years has it been since he died? Back then, I was still a small soldier in the demon emperor army. Back then, I was just born. At that time, the Yama Lord was still not the Yama Lord. What an ancient name. It's a pity that not many of these young soul demons know about this great demon god who almost changed the entire dark demon realm. That was also a magnificent era for our dark devil world. Speaking of which, if demon god Dai did not return to the divine world alone, perhaps everything would be completely different now. Wait a minute, Basya, you said that one of your god hunter squad found demon god Dai? The demon monarchs seemed to be reminiscing. They had even forgotten Basya's words. Just this name alone was enough to evoke countless memories in their minds. Yes, that small team of deity hunters brought him back. Yes, it seems that they have arrived. Basya looked outside the palace with uncertainty. Chapter 1404. As soon as Demon Lord Basya finished speaking, all the demon lords looked toward the door in unison. The demon god who had been dead for countless years had come back to life. To be honest, after the news of died demon god's death in the god realm spread to the dark demon realm, there was a period of time when many foreign species with ulterior motives pretended to be died demon god in order to obtain the wealth and power left behind by died demon god in the dark demon realm. Among them, there was no lack of powerful soul demons, demon emperors, and so on. Unfortunately, it was too easy to be seen through. No matter how well they pretended to be and how well they knew Dai's every word and action, they would eventually be discovered. As for the outcome, it was needless to say. Later, after Yama Lord unified the entire dark demon realm and dominated the universe, no one dared to pretend to be Dai anymore. Who would have thought that when this majestic conquest of the god realm neared its end, there would actually be news of demon god Dai? The hundreds of demon lords present were truly shocked. Moreover, he had come to King City to face their demon emperor army. What did this mean? This meant that Dai was not afraid of being exposed at all and was extremely confident. Otherwise, he would not have come here. The demon lords and countless powerful spiritual senses enveloped the entire King City. They had indeed sensed that a team of god hunters had entered King City with a special power. However, none of the demon lords made any move. It was as if they were waiting. At this moment, the door opened. Light flashed in from outside. The demon lords were strangely excited. Even though they were in control of King City and had sensed that the special life form was coming here to test themselves, they were still somewhat expectant even though they had not seen it. However, when the door opened, only 3 members of the god hunters walked in. The 3 soul demons flew to Demon Lord Basya, trembling with fear. Demon Lord Basya asked, "Where is Dai?" In fact, he knew that the special power was only outside and had not entered the palace. His Excellency is outside. And Mohai hurriedly and carefully said, "He seems unwilling to come in. He asked me to pass a message to ask Demon Lord Ba Xia and all the demon lords in the palace to go out and meet him. When Mo Hai heard this, he was dumbfounded. This was too arrogant. However, if the other party was really Dai, he could accept it. But which of the demon lords present was not a famous soul demon in the dark demon realm? Moreover, Mo Hai knew that these demon monarchs that had entered the divine world to participate in the war were the elite trump cards of the demon emperor army. They were the old demon monarchs that had been passed down from the demon emperor army. They were unruly and powerful. Some of them were even soul demons of supreme rank. Even Shang Demon God would have a hard time ordering them around. Shang Devil God was the supreme leader of the imperial demon army. One could imagine how arrogant these demon lords were. That's a familiar tone and command. What do you think, demon lord? You little devil. What else did Demon God Dai say? The demon lords were all stunned by these words. Very strong. This tone, this should be the one that I impersonated Demon God Dai the most in all these years. That demon lord laughed. Everyone, what do you think? Should we meet his honor? Or should we meet this Demon God Dai? Mo Hai raised his head slightly and glanced at the demon lords. He found that these demon lords were not angry. Instead, they were enjoying it. There was even some excitement in their eyes. Damn, since when did these demon lords have the characteristics of the succubus clan? Mo Hai felt that it was ridiculous. There were many clans in the dark demon realm. The succubus clan was not special. They just liked to be abused. Their physique was the kind that liked to be abused. The more they were beaten, the more excited they were. Their cultivation method was also very special. The more they were beaten and the more they were insulted, the faster their cultivation speed would be. Then, should we kneel or not? One of the demon lords asked a question that made Mo Hai want to faint. Damn, could it be that the demon lords present really wanted to kneel and leave? Mo Hai was shocked. Demon God Dai had been dead for so many years, but his power was still there. It was really unimaginable. Or perhaps these demon lords were too high in status and knew more about Demon God Dai. Kneel. We can't live with our faces. This demon lord pinched his chin. If we don't kneel, even if there's a 1 in a billion chance that he is really Demon God Dai, then won't we be in trouble? This was really a problem. As a demon lord, he naturally had to consider the worst possibility. However, the worst-case scenario was not something they could bear. The demon lords fell silent. After a while, Ba Xia said, I have an idea. In a few days, it will be the death anniversary of Demon God Dai. The death anniversary of Demon God Dai is a big event in our dark demon realm. It is also a festival. As a warrior of the Demon Emperor army, no matter where we are, we will kneel and pay our respects. We demon lords do the same. Many of the demon lords knew about this. The death anniversary of Demon God Dai was a big festival in the dark demon realm. Usually, there would be a grand demon worshipping ceremony. At the ceremony, all soul demons except the other demon gods would kneel and pay their respects. The Yama Lord would lead many demon gods to hold the ceremony and receive the worship of all demon gods. It should be known that the worship of any living being, no matter who it was, would produce powerful mental waves. For demon gods, if they kowtowed to a living being or even a small plane, the powerful mental waves could easily affect the plane's laws, causing space to collapse and the laws to shatter. That was very impressive. In the dark demon realm, only the Yama Lord could receive the worship of all demon gods. In fact, every demon god Dai's death anniversary, the Yama Lord would receive the worship of countless soul demons to suppress the fate of the dark demon realm. We probably won't be able to return to the dark demon realm, Ba Xia continued. Ba Xia continued. Then let's use the excuse of paying respects to Demon God Dai to go out and kowtow. If he isn't Demon God Dai, his soul and physical body would definitely be shattered, and his will would disperse after receiving the kowtow of us demon monarchs. This way we won't lose face. Good idea. As soon as Ba Xia finished speaking, many demon lords agreed. Demon God dies death anniversary. How could I forget this? Let's follow Bastia's idea. I think it's very good. Many demon lords nodded. Chapter 1405. Mo Hai thought it was a good idea. The kowtow of the demon lord was truly not something that just anyone could bear. The demon emperor army that the demon emperor army sent to the divine world were the best of the best. The demon emperor army was the most powerful military force in the dark demon realm, and it had many detailed divisions. However, the demon king leaders of the armies that could come to the divine world were all upper-rank soul demons. Ranks were the divisions of life in the dark demon realm. It was a very broad division. Each rank was divided into 10 levels, and each level represented the specific strength of the rank. An upper-rank soul demon was comparable to a first-rank god in the divine world. Under the development of Tang San, there were less than 100 first-class gods in the divine world. There were only a few dozen first-class gods. The Imperial Demon Army, which represented the strongest military force in the dark demon realm, had sent nearly 100 upper-class soul demons to the divine world. The rest of the soldiers were not included. Of course, the divine world was the main battlefield of the gods, and they could not be compared directly. However, as a demon king with this title, it meant that they had broken away from their normal bodies. Their demon body contained many profound laws, just like those first-rank gods. If they thought of demon god die, they would lock onto him and kowtow, and the world would change. Thinking of this, Mo Hai was looking forward to it. Then, the demon kings quickly walked out. More than 100 demon kings walked out of the palace unhurriedly. The square outside the palace was the center of King City, and it was very wide. At this time, the demon emperor army was densely packed like locusts instead of the divine world's soldiers guarding the sky. There was no longer any god's aura in King City. The moment the demon kings walked out, their eyes immediately locked onto the stalwart figure standing in the center with his hands behind his back. Indeed, he looks like something, a demon king exclaimed. Just his back, he does look like him. But why are there golden wings on demon god Dai's wings? Why do they look like there are a few more pairs? At this time, they saw the figure turn around. When they saw the figure's face, many demon kings were stunned. F***CK, I saw Dai demon god once when I was still a soldier. They look exactly the same. A demon monarch exclaimed, it's too similar. There aren't many who know the true appearance of the Dai demon god now. Back then, there were so many beautiful and peerless women of various races in the Dark Devil world. In the beginning, they were all mesmerized by this face. I remember that Devil God Dai's devil body was created by the origin of darkness. His face and even a strand of hair could not be replicated. To this day, countless soul demons had tried all kinds of methods to grow into Dai's appearance. Unfortunately, even demon gods of the same level are unable to replicate demon god Dai's appearance. Although it looks exactly the same, it feels a little different. F***CK, I'm actually starting to believe it. These demon monarchs communicated via voice transmissions and exclaimed in surprise. Mo Hai occasionally listened to it and felt that it was very strange. Basya calmly walked at the front. As the demon monarch, he naturally could not reveal his thoughts and emotions. Therefore, what Wang Feng saw were rows of soul demons with powerful auras pouring out of the palace in a single file. Each of them exuded an extremely powerful aura. However, they were all slightly weaker than the Silver Dragon, but there were a few that were not much weaker. It was hard to imagine that the Dark Devil world had such exaggerated high-level combat power. This Dai demon army was truly unfathomable. Although he's strong, he's nothing to the current me. Unless a real demon god appears, these demon monarchs cannot hurt me at all. Wang Feng naturally did not panic. In terms of strength, these demon monarchs were close to level 141st tier gods. However, Wang Feng could feel that their strength had been weakened in the divine world. This was normal. The divine world had its own rules. Life forms from other worlds would be restricted when entering the divine world. The rules of the divine world were related to the origin of the divine world. Even if a godly king died, it would not be affected at all. If the origin of the divine world was not destroyed, then many years later, this world would still give birth to an even more powerful godly king, born with the fate of the divine world to control this world. It had been less than a day and a half, and Wang Feng had reached level 80. Unfortunately, he did not have enough divine power of faith to condense a second divine ring. Therefore, Wang Feng could not level up for the time being. Without a second divine ring, the fourth origin tribulation, godly king's purple vein origin, could not be awakened. Even so, his current strength was not something that these demon monarchs could provoke. He came here to show off his strength to these demon monarchs. He did not want them to completely believe that he was the demon god, but he had to suppress their suspicions. However, these demon monarchs were not as easy to fool as those soul demons. He waited. He knew that these demon monarchs would definitely want to expose him. He would deal with them as they came. Wang Feng's expression did not change. He did not say a word, and his spirit was as calm as an ancient well. He looked at the demon monarchs. He had to admit that as upper-tier soul demons, the demon monarchs had evolved to a very high level in terms of physique. These demon monarchs had different forms, and not all of them were in human form. Most of them were extremely muscular, but they did not give off a sense of deformity. Among them, there was even a demon monarch that resembled an ox head and a human body. His normal body was more than 4 meters tall, and he only gave off a sense of power and beauty. Every muscle and bone in their bodies, as well as the blood in their bodies, emitted powerful energy. That exuberant vitality gave people an incomparable feeling of power. At this moment, the demon monarch in the lead spoke. "Worship the demon god. Kneel thrice and kowtow 9 times. As soon as he finished speaking, these demon monarchs looked at Wang Feng and knelt down in unison. Seeing this scene, Wang Feng was stunned. Do these demon monarchs believe me just like that? Are they kneeling just like that? Wang Fengxin was extremely surprised. No way. No way. Don't tell me they really think I'm the demon god? Why? They don't even want to test me? Isn't this too fake? Wang Feng did not believe it and was even more puzzled. He felt that these demon monarchs could not be plotting something, right? But in the next moment, Wang Feng felt hundreds of huge mental forces lock onto him. A terrifying spiritual power came pressing down from the bodies of these demon monarchs. This is... Wait, worship the demon god? Wang Feng seemed to understand something. Slaying the demon god. Retrieve all the information about worshiping the demon god. Understood. Retrieving complete. In the dark demon world, there is a special festival every year, which is the death anniversary of the demon god. This death anniversary is an exclusive festival set up for the demon god. On this day, the dark demon world, including all the races under its command, will kowtow. Hearing this, Wang Feng vaguely understood. Immediately after, Wang Feng felt a familiar mental energy. It was the divine power of faith. These demon monarchs were producing the divine power of faith. It was the divine power of faith for the demon god. What bullshit death anniversary? Wang Feng vaguely understood. This is probably the festival that the dark demon world uses to absorb the faith of countless lives in various worlds. On this day, if there are countless lives praying and kowtowing to the demon god, it will produce countless divine power of faith. It will continuously supply the dark demon world. A simple method. No, the person who knows about the demon god is not right, and he has already passed away. There is no container that can withstand this divine power of faith. Moreover, if it is the death anniversary of the demon god, the deeds of the demon god should be famous in the dark demon world. But in fact, most of the soul demons I have seen only know the name of the demon god. Wang Feng thought of many things. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. Who usually presides over such a grand festival of killing a god? Yama Lord. I see. Wang Feng suddenly understood. Obviously, Yama Lord was using the identity of the demon god to absorb countless divine power of faith for the dark demon world to strengthen the dark demon world itself. These demon monarchs are using this method to test me. After Wang Feng figured this out, he immediately understood the idea of these demon monarchs. It was indeed a good idea. In this world, other than Wang Feng, no one who pretended to be the Dai demon god could withstand the divine power of faith of these demon monarchs, because they could not withstand it at all. But Wang Feng was the same. Although he was pretending to be the Dai demon god, he had inherited the true origin of the Dai demon god and even merged with it. These divine power of faith, Wang Feng smiled slightly. I was still worried about how long it would take to condense the second divine ring. I didn't expect it to come knocking on my door. Chapter 1406. Wang Feng naturally wouldn't miss the divine power of faith that was delivered to his doorstep. In fact, this divine power of faith was a special kind of spiritual energy. To a certain extent, this kind of energy was very beneficial to a world. Any life form in a world would produce this kind of spiritual energy. And different levels of life forms produce different kinds of spiritual energy. For example, these demon lords. At this moment, they were kneeling on the ground. The spiritual energy produced by worshipping Dai was far stronger than the spiritual energy produced by the soul contractors of the Douluo world. Just a single demon monarch was comparable to tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of soul charmers' mental energy. This energy was also purer and larger. Of course, even a god king would find it difficult to absorb such a large amount of spiritual energy. Because god kings were different from the dark demon world, their souls were different. It was impossible to absorb the spiritual energy of these demon lords. Forcefully absorbing, it would even cause one's divine position to drop. These demon lords had made a very good plan, because as long as Wang Feng was a fake Dai demon god, it would be impossible for him to withstand this spiritual energy. No matter how bad it was, he would be exposed. Unfortunately, they didn't expect that Wang Feng had inherited the power of Dai demon god, feeling the surging divine power of faith in his body. Unlike the white divine power of faith from before, the divine power of faith produced by the soul demons was black and gold. Countless spiritual energy emitted from the hundreds of demon lords, invisible and formless, surging towards Wang Feng's soul. Like a flood or a beast, it attacked Wang Feng's soul. The demon lords knelt on the ground devoutly. They looked like they were worshipping Wang Feng in front of them, but in reality, they were praying to Dai demon god in their hearts. This kind of devotion was somewhat beyond Wang Feng's imagination, because after a short while, Wang Feng's second divine ring of faith was condensed. One had to know that the first divine ring had been in the divine world for more than a day. It had been more than a year in the lower realm before it barely took shape. With the development of the Douluo world, a year was enough for countless soul contractors to emerge. Because soul contractors were different from soul masters, the threshold was very low. Soul masters were also limited by their innate soul power level. But as long as a soul contractor signed a contract with a soul master, they could increase their aptitude. Naturally, there would be a large number of soul contractors. In addition, during the war, soul beasts and humans had already reached an agreement, so they would naturally cooperate with humans and provide a large number of soul beasts. This was the reason why Wang Feng was able to condense a divine ring within a single day in the divine world. But now, not even half an hour had passed. He's too strong. These high-rank soul demons are powerful beings. I wonder what kind of existence Dai demon god was in their minds back then, said the soul demon god. Kneeling down so devoutly would produce an endless stream of divine power of faith. Wang Feng quickly gathered divine power of faith and stabilized the newly formed divine ring. With this divine ring, Wang Feng estimated that he should be able to reach level 100. At that time, the Dark Devil realm would no longer be a threat to him. Aside from the Yama Lord, Wang Feng felt that there was no one else he was afraid of. More, Wang Feng was in a good mood as he sensed that the divine ring was still growing stronger. If his divine ring became stronger, it meant that he would become stronger in all aspects. For example, his 3 awakened source powers would become more powerful, and his many abilities, For example, if his imperishable essence became stronger, it meant that his soul and physical body would become stronger again. As his soul and body grew stronger, he would be able to withstand more and more divine power of faith, forming a virtuous cycle. Unfortunately, the origin tribulation God King's imperishable essence back then shouldn't have been strong. Origin tribulation God King didn't seem to be famous, and his cultivation method must be completely different from now. He probably cultivated alone like a lone ranger. But even so, he was invincible back then. He sighed in his heart. Cultivation and becoming stronger was never a matter of one person. In fact, Wang Feng himself felt that he would have turned into a pile of dirt without the help of the system. In fact, even Tang San's achievements would be limited if he just stayed in one place and cultivated without the encounter in the original work. With the appearance of the second divine ring, the fourth purple pattern on Wang Feng's body lit up. This was the fourth source origin element. The source origin used by the origin tribulation God King to control all kinds of elemental energy. There were all kinds of elements in heaven and earth, and so did the divine realm. Those famous first-tier gods, such as the fire god, the wind god, the water god, and so on. They were one of the most basic elements that made up the world. The silver dragon originated from one of the two origins of the dragon god. The source origin controlled by the origin tribulation God King was similar. As for which was stronger and which was weaker, Wang Feng had no idea. The origin tribulation God King had a total of 7 origins. The dragon god possessed 2 types of power, destruction and creation. Similarly, they were 2 types of powerful origin powers. From a narrow point of view, the source origin seems to be the elements of wind, fire, water, and wood, but in fact, it should be the various energy elements in the universe, not just these elements. Wang Feng thought hard for a few seconds. At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly felt some changes in his own perception. The source origin of element shone brighter through the purple origin. It flowed into Wang Feng's body. The change in perception also changed Wang Feng's vision. In his sight, everything in front of him seemed to have become a world composed of countless particle mosaics. Multicolored elements. The world is made up of elements. Sure enough, the origin tribulation God King's elements are not as simple as the silver dragons. Wang Feng took a deep breath. He seemed to have touched the essence of the world. The origin tribulation God King was awesome. His source origin was the element that made up the world. It was the microscopic element. It was not the elements of wind, fire, water, and wood in a narrow sense. What was the world made up of? If he used the knowledge of his previous life to answer, it was made up of countless particles. This was really awesome. This may be the most powerful source origin so far. Wang Fengxin smiled as if he had seen the essence of all things in the world. Wang Feng, who was feeling the fourth source origin, felt very good from the bottom of his heart. But those demon monarchs were a little tormented. Everyone, it's been so long, the authenticity should have been identified, right? Why do I feel a little weak? Sigh. I just recalled the scene of Demon God, Dai, leading us to conquer many planes. I'm filled with emotions. In the dark demon realm, other than the Lord of Hell, even those demon gods can't carry our spiritual energy. Although those demon gods are powerful, they're not pure enough and are far inferior to Demon God Dai. That's not right. Why do I feel like my soul has a true home? This means that the spiritual energy we sent out when we knelt down just now should have been absorbed, right? Chapter 1407. They were upper-level demon lords themselves, and they also had the power of faith in their bodies. Most of it came from the army they were in, as well as the races they had conquered and their subordinates. There were also many lives that believed in the power of these demon lords. Naturally, they also knew that when they sent out their spiritual power to Demon God Dai, once it was absorbed, it meant that they had also found their own faith. Demon lords also needed faith. Soon, they opened their eyes and stood up in unison. Their gazes landed on Wang Feng in front of them in shock. Shock was written all over their faces. They could feel that the current Wang Feng could not feel any aura at all, as if he had merged with this world. They could not feel any aura. However, a fear that penetrated deep into their souls could not help but arise. At the same time, they also felt a surge of energy deep in their souls. That was the power of faith. The other party had absorbed their faith, and as Demon God Dai, he would give them power. Could it be that he is really Demon God Dai? He is unharmed and even absorbed our spiritual energy. At this moment, the doubts in the hearts of these demon lords have been reduced by more than half. This was too unbelievable. I forgive you for your intentional probing, but don't do it again. Wang Feng spoke slowly as if he had already seen through everything. However, we haven't met for a long time. After so many years, the world has been turned upside down and the universe has changed. I didn't expect you to still believe in me like this. Very good. Wang Feng did not like to use such a tone. There was no other way. Demon God Dai should be like this. This was what Wang Feng knew from the history that the 5 divine kings had told him. There was not much information about Demon God Dai's temperament in the internal database of the God-slaying sect. Under the introduction of the 5 divine kings, this former dark angel god, Demon God Dai of the dark demon realm, was the kind of supreme overlord who was #1 in the world and had an incomparable fate. No matter what he said, he was full of arrogance and haughtiness. It did not fit Wang Feng's personality, so it was a little difficult for him to pretend. However, after getting used to it a little, he found that it was quite satisfying. Because of Wang Feng's words, in an instant, these demon lords began to tremble. That kind of suppression, coupled with the fear and faith that penetrated deep into the bones of their souls, made these high-level demon lords break out in cold sweat after hearing these words. Whether or not the other party was Dai Demon God, they did not dare to think too much. Even if it was a fake, the other party's strength was definitely formidable. To be able to absorb their spiritual energy, it was definitely not simple. As for whether it was Dai Demon God or not, every demon monarch had a scale in their hearts. It was hard to say for sure, but just as Wang Feng finished speaking, a pitch-black spine suddenly shot out from the void behind Wang Feng. The long spine tore through the void and stabbed towards Wang Feng with an aura that could pierce through everything. The light emitted by the long spine was dark and deep. It was the deicide ridge. Moreover, this deicide ridge was even more powerful and terrifying than the one Wang Feng had obtained from the Black Peak. Back then, Black Peak's deicide ridge was able to injure the silver dragon. With such a powerful deicide ridge, even a life form at the level of the silver dragon would suffer severe injuries if struck by it. Time seemed to stop at this moment. Everything happened too quickly. However, Wang Feng remained unmoved and did not move an inch. It was as if he did not care about the deicide ridge that was attacking him from behind. In fact, he did not even say a word. The moment the deicide ridge was about to pierce Wang Feng's back, a light flashed across Wang Feng's eyes. In an instant, the pitch-black deicide ridge was immediately disintegrated into dust. It was destroyed with a loud bang. The creation of this deicide ridge, which had an exquisite internal structure, required the tempering of countless energies and the grinding of time. Yet it was reduced to dust so easily. Even a magical machine technology of the dark demon world, which possessed powerful intelligence and consciousness, was disintegrated as well. It seems that after so many years, although all of you are still full of faith in me, these new life forms of the dark demon world still do not understand the light and shadow of fear and death. Wang Feng said calmly, "Never mind. After so many years, I don't want to be like how I was back then. I'll just punish them a little." Having said that, Wang Feng's body shook, and he waved his hand at the void behind him. In an instant, the void, which was still without ripples, was immediately torn apart. No, it was disintegrated, it was shattered. A shadow flew out from within. It was an imperial demon army. Moreover, it was a middle-rank soul demon that was close to the upper rank. A middle-rank soul demon was usually an elite warrior in the various military departments. Their strength was comparable to a second-level god, which was a level stronger than the God Hunter Squad. Their missions were usually more difficult. "I'll spare your soul. return to the dark demon world, enter the reincarnation well, and be reincarnated into a good body. Wang Feng waved his hand. The Imperial Demon Army shattered with a loud bang and disappeared under the noses of the many demon monarchs. Strange, very strange. As demon monarchs, it was not difficult for them to kill a middle-rank soul demon. However, such a strange method they did not detect it at all. They could not even sense the basic energy fluctuation. It was completely impossible. This was even somewhat beyond their understanding and knowledge. The only explanation was that it could only be done by a powerful origin power. This middle-rank soul demon was indeed a secret move set up by a certain demon monarch. He had set it up before he knelt and planned to use it after he knelt. If there were no changes in the opponent, he would casually test his specific strength. Because the Deicide Ridge was a new generation of powerful weapons in the dark demon world, whether it was die or not, they could see if the opponent could withstand such a weapon. Of course, as demon monarchs, they could not casually make a move. What if the opponent was really die? It was just that they did not expect such a situation. He's your subordinate? Wang Feng looked around at the demon monarchs, and his gaze fell on one of them. Yes, yes. The demon monarch stood up in fear and said subconsciously, Your Honor, it's all my fault for not teaching him well. My subordinates have recently used the materials from the divine realm to strengthen the Deicide Ridge. I was just about to test its power, but I didn't expect him to be so bold. He might have thought you were fake. He actually dared to attack Your Honor. However, compared to before, Your Honor is much more amiable. If it were before, you would have destroyed his soul. The demon monarch's words were watertight. He directly excluded himself as if it had nothing to do with him. Moreover, he even voiced out the doubts in his heart. Wang Fengxin said, The previous die was indeed awesome, and his killing intent was probably very strong. But Wang Feng must do so, because he was not the real die. No matter how much he imitated, there would always be some differences. It was better to show it in advance. After all, so many years had passed, it was normal for Dai's personality to have some changes. The main thing was still strength. What Wang Feng used just now was the power of the elemental origin. The elements were the same as Wang Feng thought. It was the microscopic elemental energy that made up the world in the true sense. Everything in the world was made up of these microscopic elemental energy. Mountains, rivers, plants, animals, humans, and the divine realm was the same. Controlling these elements meant that one could change everything. Life and death. This was the so-called elemental origin of the origin tribulation God King. The power of the elemental origin could allow Wang Feng to instantly turn the structure of the Deicide Ridge into countless microscopic elemental energy and directly disintegrate it. Even the middle-rank soul demon was the same. However, the consumption was great, and it had an extremely high requirement on one's spirit. The activation of the origin not only had a high requirement on soul power, but also on one's spirit. Just using the elemental origin just now had consumed 1/10 of Wang Feng's spirit and soul power. But the power was really terrifying. If he wanted, even one of the demon lords present could directly turn into nothingness. The most terrifying thing was that it was silent. This really involves the universe's most primordial origin energy, Wang Feng thought to himself. The elemental origins of the origin tribulation God King were each stronger than the other. The other abilities of the elemental origin, disintegration, was just one of them. So many years have passed. Could it be that you all think that this exalted is still the same as before? Wang Feng collected his thoughts and looked indifferently at the demon lords. I know that you have offered your faith to me, but your experience and reason make it hard for you to believe. After all, this is the dark demon realm of Yin Yin. Hearing this, the demon lords present were stunned and then fell silent. But it was so. Even if they offered their faith, the world had changed and the stars had changed. The dark demon realm had changed too much. At this time, Demon Lord Basya was the first to walk out. My lord, you must be joking. The dark demon realm is the dark demon realm of Yin Yin Yin, but the moment we joined the demon emperor army, We only believed in demon god Dai. In order to prove my faith and to welcome your return, I have two gifts for you. Oh, Wang Fengxin was stunned. Tell me, what are the gifts? In a chapter. Chapter 1408. When Ba Xia mentioned the gift, the other demon monarchs immediately cursed him for being cunning. They weren't stupid and could even guess what the gift Ba Xia was talking about was. Moreover, his intention wasn't simple. The first gift is in this palace. Ba Xia smiled. He was close to 3 meters tall and had 2 intersecting sword-like spines on his back. Although he had a humanoid appearance and was rather beautiful, when he smiled, it gave people a bone-chilling feeling. Since you all have good intentions, let me see what kind of gift you all can take out. Wang Feng naturally wouldn't back down. Lead the way. The palace in front of him was vast and majestic, and in the center, there was an empty space. In the empty space, there was a huge door that looked like a city wall that pierced through the clouds. It was over 1,000 meters tall. Wang Feng followed the demon monarchs into the palace. The interior didn't look luxurious. On the contrary, it was very old-fashioned and monotonous. Looking ahead, there was an incomparably huge door. It was seamless and looked like it was made by nature. Is that the gift you were talking about? Wang Feng said calmly. Wang Feng had some understanding of the divine world, but most of it came from the history that the 5 god kings had told him. Wang Feng didn't know much about the huge door. Oh, your honor was once a god of the divine world. Could it be that you don't know about this huge door? One of the demon monarchs asked in surprise. It's normal that you don't know. You all forgot that only the god kings of the divine world have the qualifications to enter this place. Ba Xia seemed to be explaining for demon god Dai. When your honor was in the divine world, you were a level 1 god. It's normal that you don't know about it. If we hadn't attacked the divine world's king city, we might not have known about it. The demon monarchs didn't say anything else. Ba Xia continued. This gate is called the Forbidden Domain Divine Wall. Inside, it is the origin star core that is related to the operation of the divine realm. This world was created by an even more ancient life form. Normally, a world of this level would have a powerful origin star core to provide energy for this law. As long as you control the origin star core inside, it means that you can truly rule the divine world. Ba Xia looked around. Every movement in the divine world, every blade of grass, every tree, every life form, every change in energy, and even the change in the laws of the divine world can be realized. For example, in the God world, due to the restrictions of the laws, most of our strength will be reduced. Is this place a place for us to fight and survive? If we have an origin star core, we can change the rules of the God realm and create an environment suitable for us. It will truly become a world ruled by our dark devil realm. It is also the first world to possess immortal chi. Immortal spiritual energy was a concept of the energy of heaven and earth in the Douluo divine world. Gods also relied on absorbing this energy to become stronger. Divine rings could only be formed by absorbing this energy and combining it with the power of faith. Just like the dark devil chi, they were just different energies of heaven and earth. But what was the origin of these attributes of heaven and earth energy? Naturally, it was closely related to this world. Different planes, different energies, and different natures would often lead to different cultivation paths. The origin star core that Ba Xia mentioned could change the energy of heaven and earth in the divine world and change the laws of heaven and earth. In that case, this origin star core was extraordinarily strong. Therefore, this origin source star core is the first gift that we offer to you for your return. Ba Xia finally changed the topic. As long as you control this item, it means that you will truly control the God world. I think your honor should be very satisfied, right? Back then, Demon God Dai was a traitor of the God world. He betrayed the God world and later died in the God world. Although it was uncertain now, Demon God Dai must have suffered a lot when he returned to the God world. He was naturally full of hatred for the God world. Being able to control the God world was naturally to Demon God Dai's liking. However, the prerequisite was to be able to open this door. This was the key. Wang Feng immediately understood. And this door wasn't simple. If nothing went wrong, this door couldn't be opened by just these demon sovereigns. Therefore, Basya wanted to use this opportunity to present it to Wang Feng. On one hand, it could be used as a gift, and on the other hand, it could also see if Demon God Dai was really strong. To put it bluntly, it was actually a kind of test. However, this kind of test was a very particular test. But it was also a test. Wang Feng felt very angry. He had already told them not to test anymore. These demon sovereigns still dared to test. They even used a gift as an excuse. Their methods were very particular. So what if they were particular? Did they not put me, Demon God Dai, in their eyes? Wang Feng looked at Basya, his eyes as dark as an abyss. Basya seemed to feel the killing intent of Wang Feng and immediately said, "Your Honor, this is definitely not a test. In fact, you don't know that if we can't open this giant door, Demon Lord Shang will definitely find an excuse to weaken us when we return to the Dark Demon world. Even if we follow Demon Lord Shang's request and forcibly open the 3 layers of restrictions, our god-slaying ridges will consume a lot of energy and even burn the core of the god-slaying ridges. At that time, our strength will also be greatly reduced. This giant door is a problem that Demon Lord Shang left for us." Hearing this, Wang Feng was slightly stunned. Then, Basya told Wang Feng about the Demon Emperor army in detail. After hearing this, Wang Feng understood. This giant door was a problem that Demon Godshang had left for Basya and the other demon sovereigns. Why did he leave a problem behind? This involved the division of forces within the Demon Emperor army, which was very complicated. The Demon Emperor army was the largest military force in the Dark Demon world. It had tens of thousands of troops, and countless demon god subordinates were mixed in. According to the division of forces, they could be roughly divided into 5 categories. The first category was led by senior demon sovereigns like Basya. Most of them were upper-rank soul demons with great strength. They had their own forces in the Dark Demon world and even had their own plane forces. They only listened to orders and did not listen to orders. In the Dark Demon world, except for Lord Yama, even the leader of the Demon Emperor army, Demon Godshang, did not listen to orders. The second category was guarding the key points of the Dark Demon world, such as space cracks, space-time passages, Dark Demon wormholes, and various dangerous areas. These leaders of the army were called Night Demon Sovereigns. They were equally powerful, but generally, they only had one order in their life, which was to guard. Unless it was absolutely necessary, they would not make any changes. The third category was led by the 9 demon gods. The leaders of the various armies that infiltrated the Demon Emperor army were also demon sovereigns and upper-rank soul demons. However, these armies would generally only listen to Demon Lord Shang's orders on the surface. Most of them were just chess pieces that provided the other strangers with the secrets of the Demon Emperor army and the direction of their forces. Their forces were relatively weak. Chapter 1409. The 4th type was very special. It was a legion that hid in all the planes under the Dark Demon realm's jurisdiction. These legions were the largest in scale, but their strength varied. They usually hid in the planes to prepare for unexpected changes in the planes under their jurisdiction. Most of them hid in the planes with their secret organization and strength, and didn't care about worldly affairs. Once there was an order from the Imperial Demon Army's headquarters, they would immediately mobilize and seize control of the plane with lightning speed to prevent any accidents. The Demon Monarch that led these legions was called the Hidden Demon Monarch. Their identities were always changing. Even the Demon Monarch of the Imperial Demon Army's headquarters wouldn't know who they were. The 5th type was the last and the most complicated. This type of legion wouldn't be inside the Dark Demon realm. But this type of legion was equally powerful because they were responsible for exploring new planes and worlds. Once they found them, they would immediately report to the Dark Demon realm's headquarters, waiting for orders. This type was the most dangerous and had the most numbers. The Demon Monarch that led this type of legion was called the Demon Monarch. They were usually in the tens of thousands of soldiers. The soul demons that appeared in the Douluo world were the soul demons of this type of legion. They were responsible for foreign wars, invasion, conquest, and so on. There were cannon fodder, elites, and trump cards. Our Imperial Demon Army's internal structure is so complicated, but there's a problem. Xia paused. Wang Feng also saw this problem. Xia, who was the most outstanding and most representative of the Devil Emperor army, didn't have any missions. Or rather, it was meaningless. The last 4 types all had their own roles and duties, but the first type didn't, and they had a lot of power and strength, and they didn't have to listen to orders. Wang Feng felt that if he were Shang Demon Monarch, he would definitely pull out all these thorns. My lord, do you know why our legion is participating in the invasion of the God Realm? Xia sighed. The Dark Demon Realm's excuse is that the God Realm is powerful, so they naturally send us, the strongest in the Imperial Demon Army, to fight. But in fact, Shang Demon Monarch wanted to weaken our strength. Only then did we ask the King of Hell to mobilize us to the God Realm to participate in the war. At this point, Xia continued, Your Honor should have learned about the battle between us and the Divine World's King City from Slaying God. In the end, the Yama King appeared and destroyed the King City's defense with a single palm strike, right? Wang Feng nodded slightly. After absorbing the Black Nightmare Lion's god slaying, Wang Feng learned all the details of that battle. Do you know why the Yama Lord went to such great lengths to destroy the capital of the God Realm with a single palm strike? Firstly, it was to show off his power. Secondly, it was because... Xia stopped. Secondly, the battle with King City had cost us quite a lot. God King Tang San and Shang Demon Lord were fighting back and forth. They even had the upper hand. In fact, Shang Demon Lord did it on purpose. That way, our army will be quickly depleted, and we will be able to deal a blow to King City's strength. The Lord of Hell didn't want too many of us to die, so in the end, he struck out with his palm and suppressed the immortal King Tang San, shattering the Imperial City's prohibition spell. Wang Fengxin suddenly understood. He didn't expect that there were so many secrets behind this seemingly simple battle. Shang Demon God is a demon god. Naturally, he wouldn't attack us directly. He also wouldn't let the internal forces of the Imperial Demon Army deal with us, because it wouldn't sound good. If he attacked us personally, he would be killing his own people. If he let the internal forces of the Imperial Demon Army deal with us, it would be an internal strife. The Yama Lord didn't like these. Therefore, he used this method to weaken us. It was an extremely treacherous and cunning method. Demon Lord Xia glanced at the surrounding demon lords. He found that they were all silent. They knew the inside story. But even so, we didn't slack off in our fight against the God Realm. Xia raised his voice. Because we know that Demon God died in the God Realm. We, the old soldiers of the Imperial Demon Army, were all subordinates of Demon God Dai. Naturally, we hate this place. We didn't slack off in this battle. Many soldiers died, but it was worth it. While speaking, Demon Lord Xia's eyes were sincere, and his voice was sonorous and powerful. Obviously, he said this from the bottom of his heart. F***CK. He still wants to stir up my emotions. Wang Fengxin thought to himself, damn, it's really interesting. Unfortunately, I'm a fake. I'm not the real Demon God Dai. So, it doesn't matter to me how many people die. Of course, Wang Feng wouldn't say that. Shang. He was so weak back then, but he could also become the leader of the Imperial Demon Army. It seems that I've been away for too long. The Dark Demon world has changed a lot. Wang Feng sneered. A mere Demon Lord Shang can only use this kind of trick to deal with you. But I can break this door in the blink of an eye. After listening to Xia's explanation, the truth should be very high. This huge door was extraordinary. It was a restriction cast by the 5 great god kings together. To really open it, only the 5 demon gods would be able to do so. Moreover, it would take a lot of effort and consume a lot of energy. It was a strenuous but pleasing thing to do. The power of the god-slaying ridge was closely related to the soul demon. In theory, the powerful god-slaying ridge could analyze this restriction under the control of a demon lord, but it would be very slow. It was like using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to solve a calculus problem. Demon Lord Shang had only solved 30% of the restriction. Even if hundreds of demon lords came together, it was possible. However, this would definitely consume the strength of these demon lords. Just like Boss Ya said, the god-slaying core would explode. Wang Feng didn't have a powerful god-slaying core. He had the god-slaying core. Even if he absorbed the Black Demon Lion's god-slaying core, the level of the god-slaying core in his head wasn't high. However, it was a coincidence. He didn't have a powerful god-slaying core. However, Wang Feng understood the 5 great god kings' laws and restrictions, because he was sealed by the 5 great god kings for 10,000 years. How could Wang Feng not be familiar with the seals of the god kings? He had experienced it personally. Therefore, Wang Fenglao understood the seal placed on the god king. For example, although he didn't know the basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, he had the standard answer to this question. There was no need to analyze it. Moreover, Wang Feng had a more powerful elemental origin. Even if it was a God King seal, Wang Feng could directly break it down from its foundation. This was the most terrifying part. Wang Feng approached the giant door step by step. All the demon lords focused. No one knew better than them what was hidden behind this giant door. No one understood better than them how difficult it was to open this giant door. Even if the 5 great god kings were to gather, it would take at least a few years. The main reason was that the laws of this world were very restrictive. Even if the demon lords were here, they would need a lot of time to adapt. Otherwise, just activating the god-slaying core for analysis would require a lot of energy. The immortal spiritual energy of the divine realm was not suitable for them to cultivate. He placed his palm on the giant door. Break! Wang Feng's eyes lit up. The purple patterns on his body seemed to form countless ancient patterns that climbed up the giant door. At this moment, with Wang Feng's palm as the fulcrum, the elemental origin seemed to want to lift up the giant door. Rumble. Accompanied by an ancient rumble, countless restrictions appeared on the giant door that was originally as smooth as jade. Those restrictions were formed using the ancient language of the divine realm. They were mysterious and mysterious. It was as if they were engraved with the evolution of all things. It was difficult to understand. Wang Feng didn't know the meaning of these restrictions or the meaning of these ancient words. However, they were indeed incomparably powerful. However, after encountering those purple patterns, all the restrictions disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chapter 14:10. The ancient rune restriction on the giant door quickly disappeared. It was as if it had been erased by an eraser. The demon monarchs did not dare to take a deep breath. The speed was too fast. How'd he do it? Even if he used the highest level of Godslayer, he might not be able to do it to this extent, right? Could those demon gods do it? The restriction was being broken at a speed visible to the naked eye. It would only take a few days at most to completely break it. But even if the other 5 demon gods came, it would be impossible to break it in a few days. Demon God Dai. I seem to have seen the demon god in my memory, who can always create miracles. Everyone, I now truly believe that he is the Dai devil god. A demon monarch transmitted his voice mentally. That's right. When demon god Dai was still alive, he also created many miracles in the dark demon world and did things that many demon gods could not do. It's a pity. The restriction of the 5 great divine kings can be broken so easily. Could it be that Lord Dai's current strength has surpassed the 5 great divine kings? Without Godslayer, he is still so fast. The demon monarchs exclaimed in their hearts and communicated with each other mentally. But Wang Feng obviously did not care so much. The restriction on the giant door was indeed very easy for Wang Feng. Especially after using the elemental origin, the speed of breaking it was incomparably fast. It was just that the consumption was too great. With Wang Feng's current divine power and mental strength, he could only break about 30% in one go. It would probably take a few days to completely break it. This giant door was over 1,000 meters tall. When nearly a third of the ancient rune restriction disappeared, Wang Feng stopped. More than half a day had passed. If he continued, he would consume too much energy and easily expose a flaw. However, As the restriction disappeared, Wang Feng could vaguely sense a slightly strange aura coming from the other side. It was not clear. Wang Feng also quickly stopped when he sensed the strange aura. This feeling came from a mystery of the front word. It was very special. The special feeling seemed to be telling Wang Feng not to break the restriction on the giant door easily. Demon God Shang's mission is 30%. Wang Feng released his hand and did not turn around. Instead, he said lightly, "Now, this is about 30%. It's enough for you to return and report." Hearing this, the demon monarchs were stunned. What did that mean? Could it be that the died devil god didn't intend to completely unlock it? But what about the origin star core that was related to the divine realm? Don't you want it anymore? Wang Feng seemed to know that the demon monarchs were puzzled. He pointed at the giant door in front of them and said, "Do you all really think that the origin star core of the god world is inside?" This question once again made the demon lords look at Wang Feng in shock. "Let me ask you, who told you about the source star core?" Wang Feng said slowly, "It's Shang, Devil Lord." Ba Xia paused after saying that. "That's right, Shang, Demon Master. You must have captured many gods from the divine realm. Have you asked them about the origin star core?" Wang Feng asked again. "This place is a forbidden area in the capital. Only the 5 god kings of the God Realm Committee have the right to enter. The other gods have no right to enter. Therefore, they wouldn't know about the origin star core. There's no point in asking." Another demon monarch added, "My lord, are you suspecting that there's a trap in here? However, we've seen some descriptions about the origin star core from some ancient books in the God world. It's just that they didn't specify that it's inside here. Although God King Tang, Sam was suppressed by Yin Zhu. Only Devil God Shang can watch over such a God King level existence. We didn't have the chance to come in contact with it." At this point, the demon monarch paused. He seemed to have understood the crux of the problem. "My lord, do you mean that there's no origin star core in here?" Ba Xia broke out in cold sweat. Wang Feng didn't answer. He wasn't sure. The former word puzzle's reaction was very accurate. Most importantly, when the 5 god kings sealed him, they didn't mention the origin star core and the forbidden region divine wall. Even if the 5 god kings wanted to hide such important information from him, the future origin tribulation god king, they shouldn't have not mentioned it. Moreover, the seal of the 5 god kings was needed, unless it appeared in the god world in the past few decades after Wang Feng was sealed. However, the origin star core was such an important thing. How could the god world only discover it in the past few decades? Wang Feng didn't think it would be something good. He himself was a very good example. The reason why the 5 god kings sealed him was because he was about to explode, which would endanger the god world and other planes. That was why they used the god king's seal to seal him. In essence, Wang Feng was more dangerous than his potential at that time. Then, the 5 god kings would seal this giant door. Could it be the origin star core inside? Looking at it from another angle, if it was really the origin star core, why did they need the god kings to seal it? Even the god kings couldn't control such a powerful thing. If it could only be controlled by an existence more powerful than the god kings, then the seal was meaningless. Why seal it? Wang Feng felt that if there was such a terrifying thing as the origin star core, the god kings wouldn't have the ability to control it. For example, if the blue star in his previous life had life consciousness, would it still need the humans on Earth to protect and seal it? In other words, this origin star core was more terrifying than the god kings. There was no need for the god kings to seal it. Even if it was the purest form of energy without life consciousness, it wasn't something the god kings could touch and use. If the god kings could use it, the god world would have changed long ago. Thinking of this, Wang Feng suddenly understood. He was 99% sure that it wasn't an origin source star core inside. Devil God Shang is too treacherous, a demon monarch said fiercely. Devil God Shang might not know what's inside, but he is just using us to test the waters. Normally, there will be some changes when the seal is loosened by 30%. If there is any accident, the ones who will die will be our warriors. Ba Xia said in a deep voice. After Wang Feng finished speaking, most of the demon lords had angry expressions. But what was inside? Wang Feng fell in a deep thought. He didn't know. In the past, the 5 god kings had told him most of the things in the god world. They didn't mention many minor details, but they definitely wouldn't leave out the key ones. After all, he might become the Origin Tribulation God King in the future. Even if he couldn't become the Origin Tribulation God King, he didn't have to worry about the news being leaked, because he would definitely die in the Sacred Mountain. We will talk about this later. As for the remaining 70%, I will not fully unlock it before I figure out what is inside. Wang Feng said calmly. This time, the demon monarchs didn't have any objections. Only some demon monarchs sighed with emotion. It has been many years since we last met. I didn't expect you to be so cautious now. End of this chapter. Chapter 14:11. Wang Feng said with a smile that was not a smile. Back then, I killed my way into the deity world alone and almost died. I stayed in the mortal world for tens of thousands of years before recovering. If you encounter such a thing, you will definitely be more cautious than me. Hearing this, the demon monarchs were stunned again. So that's why. It seemed that Demon God Dai's personality had changed a lot, even though it did not change much on the surface. After all, Demon God Dai was indeed too arrogant back then. So much so that he dared to kill his way into the deity world alone and was almost killed in an ambush. It would be strange if he did not change a little after surviving such a disaster and coming back. You all can leave. I want to be alone for a while. Wang Feng waved his hand. Demon Monarch Ba Xia hurriedly said, Your Honor, I still have a gift here. Oh, Wang Feng thought for a while. What gift do you have? Could it be the same as this giant door? He hadn't even figured it out yet, and it had already delivered itself to his doorstep. Although you're my old subordinates, you have to do this kind of strenuous and thankless task again and again. Although I'm not as bloodthirsty as I was back then, I will not let you off easily. We wouldn't dare. The demon monarchs laughed awkwardly. Your Honor, don't worry. You will definitely be satisfied with the gift this time. Ba Xiao was extremely confident, but he rolled his eyes. I know that your Honor hated the deity world very much back then, and there are many deities in the deity world, especially the few deity kings back then. However, those deity kings are not in our hands and cannot help your Honor vent your hatred. However, we have captured several first-tier deities of the deity world. They can help your Honor vent your hatred and anger. Hearing this, Wang Fengxin's heart moved, but he did not say anything. After a long time, this continued until Ba Xia felt as if the invisible pressure was about to crush him. Wang Feng then said indifferently, Bring them here. I will take a look. Instantly, the demon monarchs heaved a long sigh of relief. Ba Xia immediately used the mental communication built inside the deicide world and ordered several soldiers to bring the deities outside the palace. Some of these deities are first-tier deities. I think there might be some old acquaintances of your Honor. Ba Xia said respectfully. These old subordinates were well aware of Dai's history. However, most of the first-tier gods of the same era as the Dark Angel God had already found their inheritors. They might not necessarily be in the divine realm. They had already gone to other worlds to search for new paths. Without batting an eyelid, Wang Feng followed the many demon lords out of the palace. Before he walked out the door, he heard the sound of an intense battle. Oomph. You think you can imprison me and Bing with just a few soul demons? I haven't been playing around in the divine world for the past few decades. Get out of my way. Be careful that Bing, and I don't self-destruct. You'll all die. Also, don't think that you soul demons can do whatever you want in the God realm, just because your Yama Lord defeated my third brother. Do you know who my husband is? He's someone you can't afford to offend. He's invisible, mysterious, and powerful. Maybe, His voice paused for a moment before he continued excitedly. Perhaps he has already become a demon god of your dark devil realm. When we return to the dark devil world, if you see any injuries on me, all of you will have to bear the consequences. Wang Feng hadn't left yet. Hearing this, his footsteps paused, and he almost fell down. This voice, this familiar tone, yes, it must be Rong. Mother Asterisk Kerr, it seems like these girls know me very well. This, Wang Fengxin broke out, in cold sweat. Ning Rongrong could say this because of the series of things he did in the Douluo world. Of course, her mouth might be even bigger. Ning Rongrong couldn't really think so, otherwise it would be too awesome. The rest of the demon lords sneered. These gods are really interesting. Ba Xiao mocked. We caught several powerful first-tier gods, but they don't seem to think that Yama Lord defeating God King Tang San is the same as defeating the divine world. Instead, they believe in a mortal from the lower realm. How ridiculous! God King Tang San is the strongest person in the divine world. Hearing this, Wang Feng nodded and said, "It's quite ridiculous, but not necessarily." "Oh, I didn't expect your honor to say this." Many demon lords were surprised. "I have been silent in a mortal world for tens of thousands of years," Wang Feng said indifferently. "I found that there are many talents in the mortal world. Although they're only born in the lower realm, they have the aptitude of a demon god. If they grow up in the dark demon world, they will definitely become a giant of a world. Because of this, I even buried a few chess pieces in the mortal realm for future use." Hearing this, many demon lords were skeptical. But these words came from the dignified demon god Dai. With demon god Dai's arrogance, it meant that there were indeed many outstanding people in the lower realm. "If you don't believe me, you can't help but think about this god King Tang San," Wang Feng said slowly. "He is a god king who rose from the lower realm, but he is completely different from the other innate life forms born in the divine world. He really became a god king with the life of a mortal." These words made many demon lords nod. It was indeed so. "Then, Your Honor, did you find any talents in the lower realm?" Ba Xia asked with a smile. "If I say there is, then there is naturally." Wang Feng paused, looked at the door in front of the palace, and said, "This person is called Wang Feng. He is a heaven-defying genius. If he was born in the dark demon world, no soul demon could be compared to him. This person is also a chess piece I buried in the lower realm. There is no harm in telling you. This child's aptitude is high, not inferior to mine. He will definitely be of great use in the future." Wang Feng said these words without blushing or panting. First, he boasted about his traditional skills. Sure enough, after hearing this, many demon lords were shocked. "He is so powerful. His aptitude is almost the same as Your Honor's? This is a bit terrifying." "What's terrifying about it?" "Your Honor said that this child has already become Your Honor's chess piece. No matter how high his aptitude is, the innate plane will limit his growth. No matter how much he grows, he will not be able to reach Your Honor's level." "That makes sense. Your Honor is still the most powerful. By making arrangements in advance and capturing this kind of monster, you will definitely have a powerful helper in the future. Only His Honor can control such a monstrous genius." Hearing the compliments of many demon lords, Wang Feng's expression did not change. "Open the door. This sovereign wants to see what these first-tier gods of the divine world look like." After Wang Feng's boasting, most of the demon lords believed him. They did not stay any longer and opened the door of the palace. They walked to the plaza outside. Rays of light converged from afar, and finally, Wang Feng saw the scene in front of him, as well as the beautiful figure that he had not seen for 10,000 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 14:12. Outside the palace stood several men and women wearing the God World's corrosion armor. They were the gods who had stayed behind to guard the God World's king city. A war between the God World and the Dark Demon World had broken out in the Void Battlefield, and a large number of gods had gone there. There was also a group who had stayed behind to guard the God World's king city. After the king city was breached, they were captured by the Dark Demon World and were already meat on the chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered. However, as gods, it was almost impossible to kill them in the God World, especially first-tier gods. It required a lot of evil energy, because the God World had its own rules. Therefore, only by bringing them to the Dark Demon World could they easily kill them. Among them, the two women in the center were the most eye-catching. At this moment, the source of the voice was a beautiful woman wearing a long blue dress with light pink hair. She looked very young. Her face was white and flawless, and her facial features were exquisite and moving. Tom had not left any traces on her body. If she did not speak, her temperament was like silk, gentle, and beautiful. However, when she spoke, there was a bit of heroic spirit between her eyebrows. This woman was naturally Ning Rongrong. The woman standing beside her was wearing an ice-colored dress. She was the opposite of Ning Rongrong. Her temperament was as cold as water. Standing there, even though she was surrounded by Dark Demon World's warriors, her facial features were incomparably gentle and beautiful, completely different from her temperament. However, there was a paradoxical charm. It was Shui Bing. When the two stood together, it was like a combination of pearls and walls, forming a special aura. However, they both wore a black and gold wristband on their hands, which seemed to be some kind of confinement tool in the Dark Demon World, causing them to be unable to use divine power. Mo Hai was in charge of escorting these gods here. Demon Monarch Basya instructed that these were the second gifts for Demon God Dai. This meant that the demon monarchs in the palace were completely Demon God Dai. He was the real Demon God Dai. Thinking of this, Mo Hai still felt that it was somewhat inconceivable, as if he was dreaming. Speaking of which, he was the hero who discovered Demon God Dai. Naturally, these gifts had to be escorted properly. At this moment, when he heard these first-tier gods say such arrogant words, he could not help but laugh. They probably did not know their fates yet, right? Dai Demon God hated the gods of the God realm the most. If Dai Demon God made a move, he would definitely be able to destroy these gods. You gods are really making me laugh my head off. Demonic Sea couldn't help but snicker. Can't you at least brag properly? Your man is a demon god. My son is a universe ruler. Do you know who the 9 great demon gods of our Dark Devil world are? How ancient were they? Just how old are you? Was it 100 years? These demon gods have lived for God knows how long. Your man might not even be born yet. These gods were simply too laughable. However, even at this point, he was still unwilling to give in. He was also a stubborn person. Ning Rongrong felt a little guilty after hearing the soul demon's words. She was indeed bragging. Anyway, she could not lose her momentum. Even if she was a prisoner, how could she lose her prestige? After so many years in the God realm, she and Shui Bing were not afraid of anyone. Rongrong, it's probably not a good thing that they brought us here, Water Ice whispered. Why don't we stop for a while? That won't do. Ning Rongrong snorted. Of course, they're up to no good. That's why we have to be tougher. We can't let these soul demons think that we're pushovers. But you're bragging too much. Wang Feng is still in the lower realm. There's no news of him. Shui Bing sent a secret message. I know. Ning Rongrong's eyes dimmed. Then, she said, it's because he's in the lower realm. Anyway, these soul demons won't know what we say. I don't know, but isn't it too easy to see through it? They're soul demons. They must know all the demon gods of the Dark Devil world. They can see through you at a glance, Shui Bing said helplessly. Who said so? Ning Rongrong said with incomparable confidence. Oh. Ning Rongrong looked at the Devil Sea and said with conviction, ignorant and inexperienced. Are there only 9 great demon gods in your Dark Devil world? Why do I remember that there's another demon god in your Dark Devil world? He's from our God realm, right? Ning Rongrong thought for a while and said, that's right. Demon God Dai? Yes, that's him. Ning Rongrong put her hands behind her back and looked proud. I'll tell you a secret. This demon god Dai is actually not dead. Demonic Sea was stunned. What's going on? Does this god know too? But demon god Dai has just returned. Shui Bing was also shocked, but she immediately reacted. Well done, Rongrong. Shui Bing was shocked and immediately sent a secret message. You can think of this. Isn't that right? Look, these soul demons are shocked, right? Ning Rongrong replied proudly. They naturally know about the 9 great demon gods of the Dark Devil world, but they definitely don't know about Demon God Dai. He's been dead for so many years. Dead men tell no tales. If I say so, they'd rather believe it than not. These soul demons will definitely be shocked, and will find a chance to slip away. This is a good idea that I've come up with these days. Shui Binger. Look, this soul demon's face is green. Ning Rong Rong sent a secret message again. I'll trick him again. Demonic C's face was indeed green. You're saying that Demon God Dai is your man? Demonic C looked at Ning Rong Rong in shock. The demon god was a traitor to the heavenly realm. Your first-tier god. How can he be your man's partner? That's impossible. Demonic C quickly calmed himself down. He knew that the other party might be tricking him. She might not really know that Demon God Dai was still alive and had returned. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but say in a low voice, "Besides, Demon God Dai has fallen in your heavenly realm. Don't try to trick me here." Ning Rong Rong reacted quickly and immediately replied, "You don't understand, do you? Demon God Dai is about to die, but he's a water god. Our lineage has always been kind. Back then, this water god saw that Demon God Dai was still alive. Thinking that he's a god of my heavenly realm, I couldn't bear to see him die, so I saved him once." Shui Bing gave Ning Rong Rong a thumbs up. As expected of Wang Feng's teacher, her ability to spout nonsense was really amazing. Her words were so reasonable that even Shui Bing herself almost believed it. Even Demonic C was starting to believe it. It seemed like it was possible. This water god had saved many gods in the battle at Monarch City. She was extremely troublesome. If not for Yama's help, they might not have been able to take down Monarch City. They had to capture her. And even if they captured her, they couldn't do anything to her. Her divine body and divine soul were very powerful. Those below Demon God couldn't even hurt her. They could only imprison her. Chapter 14:13. Could it be that she is really died demon gods? Then wouldn't I have offended him? Mo Hai hurriedly shook his head and glanced at the interior of the palace. The demon god is about to come out. If no, this god is definitely tricking me. Since you still don't believe me, I'll continue. Ning Rong Rong sensed the abnormality in Mo Hai and knew that the story she had been racking her brains to come up with these few days had really frightened him. She immediately said, "Although he is still breathing, he cannot stay in the god world. Therefore, I asked him to descend to the lower realm. However, your demon god was awed by my beauty and talent and couldn't help but fall in love with me." She wanted to laugh, but she couldn't at this time. Later, he recuperated in the lower realm, and I occasionally went to see him. According to my calculations, he will recover soon and should return to the dark demon realm. Originally, there was a barrier between the god realm and the dark demon realm, so I couldn't be with him. But now that this has happened, no matter what, if you dare to touch me, then be prepared to bear the anger of Dai Demon God. After Ning Rong Rong finished speaking, she couldn't help but praise herself in her heart. She was really a little genius. Mo Hai really knelt down this time. F***CK, it was actually similar to what Dai Demon God said. Dai Demon God didn't mention this matter, probably because this kind of thing would damage his handsome and imposing image. After all, falling in love with the first-level god of the god realm was not a good thing. But he would definitely miss it in his heart. Look, these soul demons are really frightened. Ning Rong Rong was overjoyed. They are really stupid, but they have no way to verify the lie I made up. Unless Dai Demon God is really not dead. But how is that possible? Don't you think so, Binga? Shui Bing nodded. It was indeed so. Rong Rong used the information gap to frighten these soul demons. The key was that Dai Demon God had been dead for many years, and there was no evidence, so they had no way to verify it. But they didn't dare to take the risk, afraid that Rong Rong was telling the truth. After all, these soul demons were very afraid of the demon god. If Wang Feng were here, he would probably praise me for being smart. Ning Rong Rong thought, "He's not here, so I'll praise you for him. Rong Rong is so smart." Water Ice said. In any case, Ning Rong Rong felt relieved when she saw the soul demon break out in a cold sweat and tremble uncontrollably. "I advise you to release these black rings right now." Ning Rong Rong grew more and more smug. "Don't wait until the time comes. When we go to Dark Fiend Realm, Dai will give an order, and a little soul fiend like you won't even have a chance to live." Mo Hai was indeed scared. He said with trepidation, That. I, I was just following orders. Can you not be so calculative? When we meet Demon God Die later, please don't say that we... The demonic sea was starting to believe him. Don't worry, I'm a kind god. Let us go, and I won't say anything. Wait, what did you say? Ning Rongrong seemed to have thought of something and was stunned. When we meet Demon God Die later, right at this moment, boom, the door suddenly opened. More than 100 demon lords expressionlessly walked out in a single file. Like stars surrounding the moon, they surrounded and protected an imposing figure that slowly walked out from within. When the demonic sea saw this, he hurriedly knelt down respectfully. Demon God Die is here. There seemed to be a voice in the dark. Ning Rongrong froze on the spot. She was dumbfounded. Beside him, Shui Binger was also stunned. Rong! Oh my god, this Demon God Die is really not dead. Shui Bing exclaimed in her heart. Her voice could not stop trembling. It's over. Ning Rongrong opened her mouth slightly. She was also extremely shocked. She looked at the majestic Demon God Die, who was at least 3 meters tall. His appearance was handsome, and he was even more beautiful than those demon monarchs. There was no part of him that was not handsome. It was as if he had condensed all the essence in the world. At a glance, Ning Rongrong knew that this was definitely a demon god. Just this figure alone was not inferior to a god king. This was the true appearance of a demon god. Instantly, Ning Rongrong was speechless. This Demon God Die is really not dead? How is this possible? This was the history of the God realm that was clearly recorded in the God realm. Moreover, it just so happened to appear at this juncture. Sop. The perfect lie that I had thought of for so long. The plan to escape was exposed so easily. It was clearly a success. Ning Rongrong wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Wang Feng, quickly come and save me. This time, I am really at my wit's end. Ning Rongrong's face was slightly pale. At this moment, Demon Monarch Ba Xia walked out. He glanced at Ning Rongrong and the other gods and smiled. His gaze stopped on Ning Rongrong. Water God Rongrong, I heard what you said just now. Ning Rongrong, Your Honor, what do you think? Demon Monarch Ba Xia looked at Wang Feng. Regarding this water god's words, Demon Monarch Ba Xia was skeptical. He was not sure, but he did not deny it. It mainly depended on the attitude of the demon god. If it was true, then it would naturally be easy. If it was false, then his honor would naturally expose it on the spot and destroy it. Ning Rongrong closed her eyes. She felt that she was done for. This was the real Demon God Die. She felt that there was no way for her to escape, let alone this kind of lie that was exposed directly. She sighed softly. All her efforts were for naught. It was impossible for these gods of the divine world to think that Demon God Die was really not dead. This was too mysterious. I didn't expect that she would be here. Wang Feng looked at Ning Rongrong and finally spoke. He just said calmly, You all can leave. All right, did any of you hurt her? Let her fend for herself. As soon as these words came out, the whole place was silent. The hundreds of demon monarchs were slightly startled. They understood. They understood immediately. So it was true. They did not expect that Demon God Die was actually able to survive like this. It was really strange. Many demon monarchs sighed in their hearts. But when they thought of some past events in the dark demon world, they could not help but feel worried. If they knew that Demon God Die was not dead and had fallen in love with the god of the divine world, they did not know what kind of monstrous waves would be set off when Demon God Die returned to the dark demon world. They did not even dare to think about it. Many demon monarchs sighed and then retreated one after another. Only Ning Rongrong and Ice were left, who had not recovered from their shock. After a long time, Ning Rongrong still had not recovered from her shock. What's going on? This thy devil god, it seems to not expose me? Ning Rongrong was extremely shocked. How is this possible? Could it be? Your name is Ning Rongrong, right? Wang Fengxin found it funny, but he glanced at Ning Rongrong and Ice with a dignified expression. Wang Feng was sweating profusely when he heard Ning Rongrong's words just now. However, Wang Feng was very clear that this girl was obviously using the tiger's skin as a flag. It was just that her words were indeed too accurate. However, after not seeing each other for so many years, she had grown a lot. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes. Are you very curious why this sovereign did not expose your lie? Wang Feng said calmly. Instead, I cooperated with your performance. Ning Rongrong nodded subconsciously. She did not know why, but she had a premonition that she did not seem to be afraid of this demon god. Well, it was a strange feeling, but this feeling was not wrong. Ning Rongrong knew that this was the feeling that came from cultivating the word front that Wang Feng gave her. Often, it could save her life, but it might be because she did not cultivate it well enough. Sometimes, it was not very effective. It's very simple, Wang Feng said slowly, because this sovereign met a person in the Douluo world. His name is Wang Feng. This sovereign is very fond of him. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong and Ice were stunned at first, then looked at demon god Dai with excitement. What's going on? Could it be that Wang Feng was so powerful that he had already broken out of the seal? And he even had a connection with demon god Dai? Isn't this too powerful? End of this chapter. Chapter 14:14. Ning Rongrong and Shui Bing were shocked and incredulous at the same time. In a trance, they felt like they were dreaming. Unexpectedly, in such a difficult situation, it was Wang Feng who indirectly resolved the crisis. This was too much of coincidence. It was so coincidental that Ning Rongrong was extremely suspicious. Did Demon God Dai have other plans? Moreover, Demon God Dai was actually still alive. This was the most incredible thing. After the excitement and agitation, Ning Rongrong and Shui Bing forced themselves to calm down. After all, they had been in the God realm for decades and had some stability. Binger, what do you think? Ning Rongrong asked. I think it should be true. Shui Bing said halfway and sent a voice transmission in a strange tone. Wang Feng is your man. You should know him best. Whether this demon god Dai is telling the truth or has other motives, you should be able to judge more accurately than me. Why are you asking me? Oh, it seems so. Well, Feng, I know him. Ning Rongrong nodded to herself. That's right. I remember that before he was sealed, he told me that he had obtained the power of Devil God Dai and fused with the gift of another angel god in the God realm. He has the possibility of becoming the Origin Tribulation God King. Could it be that Wang Feng is really related to Devil God Dai? Wang Feng used the chaotic green lotus martial soul the most in the Douluo world. The dark angel martial soul had changed many times in succession. The formation of the angel of light and dark was very late, and the number of times it was used was very few. Because the angel of light and dark martial soul was not very helpful at that time, both martial souls could not be used at the same time. Therefore, this martial soul was rarely used, and Ning Rongrong did not know much about it. But after all, they were the closest people. Before being sealed, Wang Feng still explained the reason and the origin of the angel of light and dark martial soul clearly. Ning Rongrong naturally knew. When I was in the lower realm, I also gave him my power. But I didn't expect him to integrate my power with the power of another angel god in the God realm and walk a new path. In the future, he will definitely become a great talent and might even surpass me. I have met him several times in the mortal realm. Wang Feng boasted, and every word he said hit Ning Rongrong's heart. The main reason why he bragged like this was so that Ning Rongrong would believe him. He couldn't reveal his identity for the time being. Because the Dark Devil Realm's methods were too strange, the method of reading memories was very special. For example, a soul skill like Soul Link could allow even a god to read one's memories. Once Ning Rongrong found out about his identity, even if she was determined not to say anything, it would be hard to guarantee that she would keep a secret. Right now, Wang Feng only needed to ensure her safety. At the same time, he also needed to tell her that he was doing well in the lower realm so that she could be at ease. This was the best outcome for now. You've met before? Ning Rongrong was surprised. Of course. Wang Feng's tone was full of confidence. Since I've given him power, I've naturally seen him. Don't worry, he's far more powerful than you think. He even thought in advance that there would be a huge change in your divine realm and that you would be in danger. When I came, I must take care of you. Otherwise, you would be in a very bad situation right now. This kid's intelligence is close to that of a demon. With him around, it would be difficult for anything to happen to his confidence. Demon God dies. Tone carried some faint admiration. Ning Rongrong blushed slightly when she heard that. She didn't expect Demon Godai to think so highly of that bad guy. However, wasn't the praise a bit too much? Although she thought so in her heart, Ning Rongrong still nodded seriously and said, yes, you're right. He's very powerful. What you said is nothing to him. After saying that, she looked proud. Wang Feng. 51 Wang Feng felt a little embarrassed for bragging. He didn't expect this girl to think that it wasn't enough even though she didn't insult him. Really? By the way, is he doing well in the lower realm? How has he been these years? Ning Rongrong looked at Demon God Dai eagerly, as if she wanted to know more. Seeing this, Wang Fengxin said indifferently, The divine kings of a divine realm are indeed very scheming. They used the seal of the 5 divine kings to seal him in the lower realm. They wanted to wait for him to become the Origin Calamity divine king and take charge of the divine realm to fight against the dark demon realm. Unfortunately, Wang Feng has the universe in his heart. How could a mere Douluo divine world let him be schemed against by the 5 divine kings? He came out of seclusion in the lower realm early, but he used a special method. It's just that he hasn't become the Origin Calamity divine king yet. But after spending some time in the Douluo world 10,000 years later, he saw that the world had changed and changed constantly. Has the universe in his heart. Ning Rongrong was stunned, thinking, is Wang Feng so ambitious? No, wait. Ning Rongrong seemed to smell some key information. You said that he spent some time in the Douluo world 10,000 years later? Did he provoke other girls again? Wang Feng. F***CK. I just said it casually. You can think of this? Wang Feng looked at Ning Rongrong and thought to himself, could it be that all of my confidants really understand me so well? It shouldn't be, right? In the Douluo world 10,000 years later, Big Brother Wang is an ancestor-level figure. Shui Bing frowned and shook her head. With Big Brother Wang's temperament, why would he provoke those girls 10,000 years later? Bingo, you don't understand, Wang Feng. Ning Rongrong snorted. Dogs can't change their habits. He's handsome and strong, and he's full of mysterious glory after waking up 10,000 years later. Girls would fall for this trick. Think about how you fell in love with him back then. Sorry I spilled the beans. Even if he wasn't interested, he would still meet 1 or 2 girls he liked. Shui Bing blushed and kept silent. She really didn't understand. However, Ning Rongrong's words made some sense. Wang Feng. Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Wang Feng finally knew that this girl was also very shrewd. She looked stupid, but her heart might be as clear as a mirror. Seeing this, Wang Feng simply said, You're right, this kid has the potential to surpass the demon god. He looks decent, but in fact, he has secretly attracted the love of countless women in the lower realm. This kid always thinks that he can grasp everything and calculate everything clearly. He even wanted to scheme against me back then. Originally, I didn't want to say it, but in order to see this kid suffer, I'll tell you about the few girls he provoked 10,000 years later. Wang Feng's move of retreating in order to advance immediately made Ning Rongrong believe in this demon god even more. Then, Wang Feng briefly recounted what had happened to him in the lower realm. Moreover, he emphasized that Wang Feng provoked a certain girl. What was her name? What experience did she have? When talking, because Wang Feng was narrating from the perspective of a bystander, he realized that he seemed to have provoked a lot of people. The ones who were more deeply affected were Jiang Nanan and the Silver Dragon. Especially the Silver Dragon, who is currently in a state of disconnection and who entered the divine realm at the same time as him. After hearing this, Ning Rongrong fell silent. Rongrong, are you okay? I think, Big Brother, Wang shouldn't have provoked them on purpose. Shui Bing, Her looked at Ning Rongrong and remained silent. Her body was still trembling. Her body was also emitting a faint cold aura. She looked very bad. Wang Feng glanced at her and thought to himself, fortunately, I said it in advance. Now that I said it, this girl's anger will easily dissipate. When she really sees me, her anger will also directly disappear. Chapter 14:15. However, after a while, Ning Rongrong smiled and said in a joking tone, hearing Demon God Dai say that he only provoked 2 or 3. So I thought there were many. It seems that Feng's charm has weakened a lot. It's probably because the concept of girls 10,000 years later is too different. There are too few girls who can really see Wang Feng's inner self. Hearing this, Wang Feng's head twitched. What's going on? 2 or 3? Do you think it's too little? Moreover, why are you still speaking up for me? However, when he saw the flash of anger in Ning Rongrong's eyes, he was stunned. Wang Feng was taken aback. He seemed to have thought of something. She still cares, but she won't show it in front of Demon God Dai. This girl really takes care of me in front of outsiders. Wang Fengxin was actually a little touched. Oh, interesting. Aren't you angry? As far as I know, you gods are all monogamous. This kid provoked so many, and you're not angry? What a pity. I'm still waiting to see this kid suffer. Wang Feng said with some regret. Then Demon God Dai, you may not be able to see it. Wang Feng and I treat each other with respect. I've never been angry with him. Ning Rongrong said indifferently. Is that so? She glanced at Ning Rongrong and thought, I'm afraid she's exploding with anger. She's been scolding Big Brother Wang for being a playboy, an old cow eating young grass. Shameless. Ning Rongrong then said with a serious face, Demon God Dai, I think you didn't just leave me here to talk to me about Wang Feng, right? Of course there's something else. Wang Feng coughed and talked about business. I can let you go, but do you still remember those things you made up just now? Remember, those things are not made up by you. They're true. Do you understand? Ning Rongrong was stunned. She took a light breath in her heart. Suddenly, she thought, how did Demon God Dai resurrect? He used those lies I made up just now. Was it to hide the secret of his resurrection? Let the people of Dark Demon World think that he was resurrected because the water god secretly saved him? That must be it. Ning Rongrong thought of this. In fact, she was right. Wang Feng indeed wanted to use the story made up by Ning Rongrong as the reason for the resurrection of Dai Devil God. Because it did make sense. One had to know that the previous water god and ice god had already abdicated their positions. They were no longer in the divine realm. Even if the Dark Devil World found out that the water god Ning Rongrong was a water god that had only succeeded the throne in the past few decades, then Wang Feng could be said to have been saved by the previous water god. The water god Rongrong inherited the deity position of the previous water god. At the same time, she learned of this shocking secret. In this way, this fake identity would be perfect. I can promise you that, Ning Rongrong said in a deep voice. But I also have a request. I won't leave. I want to go to the Dark Devil World with you. Why? Wang Feng frowned slightly. Although your god realm no longer has the passage to the lower realm, the god realm is incomparably vast. It shouldn't be difficult for you to find a safe place to hide. No. Ning Rongrong shook her head. The god realm is still incomparably dangerous. On the contrary, it's the safest for me to follow you to the Dark Devil World. Moreover, I have a few good friends who should be in the god realm now. I want to find them. Ning Rongrong's tone was firm. Wang Feng was stunned. She should be talking about Zhu Zhuqing and the rest, right? Moreover, since you want to use my story as the truth, then you can't do without me. Have you forgotten what I told you? Ning Rongrong was neither servile nor overbearing. You think highly of Wang Feng, but I, Ning Rongrong, am his person. I definitely won't drag him down. At this time, I can't choose to find a place to hide and watch them in danger. Now that there's another opportunity in front of me, I won't miss it. At the side, Shui Binger smiled lightly and said in a low voice, Rongrong, look at you now. Big Brother Wang might like you even more after seeing you. TSK, he can't see. Ning Rongrong muttered. I can see it. Wang Feng was filled with emotion. These girls, Each and every one of them had really grown a lot. For Ning Rongrong to be able to think of these points, her deduction was indeed correct. That's fine, but you have to change it. Wang Feng said indifferently. The story you weaved has a very serious flaw. Those soul demons didn't understand before because they didn't understand the God realm. But I'm different. I was a god of the God realm before. You said that you saved Demon God Dai, which is obviously impossible. When Demon God Dai fought with the God realm, you, the water god Rongrong, had not yet succeeded the throne. It was the previous water god. So, do you understand? Demon God Dai, fell in love with the previous water god, and it was also the previous water god who saved this sovereign. If you want to follow me to the dark devil world, you must find a reason. This reason is that I want to find the previous water god through you. Ning Rongrong nodded. It seemed that this demon god Dai had already expected this. She must be careful in the future. This was not a good person. Zhuo Qing, Xiaowu, third brother. Wang Feng, I already have news of him. I have a premonition that he will definitely come to the Dark Devil world. Now, I have to go to the Dark Devil world first. I must find you first. Ning Rongrong thought to herself. You can leave first. Wang Feng saw that Ning Rongrong's expression did not change. He did not know what she was thinking. So he said, in this demon god army, you can rest assured for now. Most of them are this sovereign's old subordinates. Only this sovereign will follow. I will not make things difficult for you. Ning Rongrong and Shui Bing immediately took their leave. Wang Feng looked at Ning Rongrong's silhouette. Her figure was so beautiful that he had an impulse to hug her in his arms. You're more attractive. Wang Feng's face was expressionless, but there was a faint warmth in his heart. Next, Wang Feng immediately gathered hundreds of demon monarchs to discuss returning to the Dark Devil world. This time, it would not be so simple. King City of the Divine World. Wang Feng stood on top of the heavenly wheel, looking at the distant sky. Looking down from the sky, he could see the vastness of this world. King City of the Divine World had been destroyed. With the scale of the demon god army, it was unrealistic to search every corner of the divine world. That would take a lot of time. The demon god army would not care about the remaining weak lives. What the demon god army wanted to do was to capture the remaining gods and take over the other planes of the divine world. This was related to the origin star core that only existed in the records. What was behind that giant door? Wang Feng wanted to find out. Otherwise, it would be a pity to return to the Dark Devil world. If he could really find the origin core, Wang Feng would be more confident. Unfortunately, even Ning Rongrong and the others did not know much about the origin core. If he spent a few days to force open the giant door, the sense of crisis would be too strong. Wang Feng did not want to do that. So, without any clue, Wang Feng thought of going to another place. Forget about the Forbidden Region Divine Wall for now. Next, this sovereign needs to go to another place. Wang Feng looked at the Dark Devil world and said lightly, this sovereign needs to go to the Void Battleground. That's right, the Void Battleground. The system's check-in location. This place might be the key. Chapter 14:16. The Void Battlefield. Its full name should be called the Void Dimension, which was a small plane independent of the God Realm. It was not a simple battlefield. The location of this small plane was very special as it spanned across 2 galaxies. The most special thing about it was that it connected the God Realm and the Dark Demon Realm. It was a proper passage through which one could enter the God Realm or the Dark Demon Realm directly through the Void Battlefield. There was no need to spend a lot of effort to open a passage between the 2 realms. With the level of energy and world laws of the Douluo God Realm or the Dark Demon Realm, one would have to pay a huge price to forcefully open a passage between the 2 realms. Even if one could open a passage, it would not allow a large number of the Imperial Demon Army to enter the God Realm. Only a small number could pass through. Therefore, the Void Battlefield, which was also the Void Dimension, became an extremely important strategic plane. After the outbreak of the God War, the Dark Demon Realm's first priority was to break through the Void Battlefield and enter the God Realm directly. The God Realm's defeat in the Void Battlefield allowed the Dark Demon Army to enter the God Realm in large numbers. The demon monarchs, led by Ba Xia, passed through the void battlefield and entered the god realm in large numbers, directly attacking the god realm's royal city. Historically, the void dimension had been occupied by the god realm. After the outbreak of the god war, this place became a battlefield. In addition, the god realm had also fought in this place before, so over time, it was called the void battlefield. It was not a void in the true sense, nor was it a space that did not exist. It was a boundary plane. Your Honor wants to go to the void battlefield? Demon Monarch Ba Xia was the first to speak. But this place is not very good. You might not know, but when we passed through here, the war had just ended. The fluctuations from the war were too great, causing the already unstable void dimension to have spatial faults, creating some unknown spatial passages. The headquarters also sent over 100 demon monarchs to the other side of the spatial passage, but there is no news yet. Because too many gods and soul demons died in this place. The void dimension is the intersection of the two realms. Under the two extreme energies, the corpses of these gods and soul demons have mutated. It's very dangerous and chaotic now. According to the rules of the god realm, once such a situation occurs in the void dimension, it must be forbidden to enter. Normally, the void dimension will only stabilize after half a year of war. Our trip is to consolidate the remaining forces of the god realm, stay in the divine world for a year or so before returning to the dark devil world. If I go to the void battleground now, I'm afraid I won't be able to move an inch. After hearing this, Wang Fengxin looked at the grave expression on Demon Monarch Ba Xia's face. So exaggerated? Wang Feng had heard the God Kings mention the void battlefield before, but he didn't know much about it. He didn't expect the situation to be so complicated. After chatting with these demon monarchs for a while, he realized that the void battlefield might be far more complicated than he had imagined. First of all, it was not only a battlefield, but also a graveyard. This was also the place where the war between the Dragon God and the God Realm Committee had broken out. A long time ago, the Dark Demon Realm had also fought with the God Realm. One could imagine how chaotic the interior of the Void Domain was. Also, because the space in this small plane often collapsed, it would occasionally create some passageways that led to other planes. Sometimes, some messy things would be sent to this place through the passageways. This made the small plane even more dangerous. Every time a war broke out, this small plane would be disturbed, and more complicated situations would occur. It was hard to predict. This was the most important and dangerous place in the God Realm. If I stay in the God Realm for a year or so, I wonder what the situation in the Dark Demon Realm will be like. And Zhuqing, BB Don, and the others. How could Wang Feng wait that long? Dangerous. When I went through the Void Domain alone, it wasn't as difficult as it is now. What is this? Wang Feng said with an arrogant face. That's right. When Demon God Dai left the God Realm, he entered the Dark Demon Realm through this place. When he returned to the God Realm, he also passed through this place. Oh, right. One of the two great origins of the Dragon God, the Golden Dragon King, was also imprisoned in the Void Battlefield by the God Realm and sealed by several God Kings. This seems to be the case, but I still have to say one more thing. Things are different now. The Void Battlefield is much more dangerous than before. Demon Monarch Ba Xia hesitated for a few seconds and said in a low voice, Your Honor, Demon Monarch Qi of the Demon Monarch Army is directly under Yama Lord. His strength is extraordinary. With over 100 of them, any medium or small plane can be wiped out in a few days. However, it has been a few months since the war, and there is no detailed news from the inside. It is conceivable that the newly collapsed space passage in the Void Battlefield might lead to some plane. According to our speculation, this space passage will disappear in at most half a year. As long as one Demon Monarch Qi returns with news, our Dark Demon Realm will send an army to that plane. Otherwise, we can only wait for this passage to disappear and not provoke it. Right now, we should focus on digesting the God Realm. I have a suggestion, Demon Monarch Ba Xia said slowly. Demon Monarch Ba Xia said slowly. Currently, the news of your return has yet to reach the Dark Devil world. Demon God Shang wants to use the Forbidden Region Divine Wall to weaken us and keep us here. Why don't we find the real origin star core and directly control the God Realm and use it as our foundation? This way, even if your honor returns to the Dark Demon Realm, your position will be supreme. TSK. Wang Feng glanced at this guy. Not bad. This bastard has the makings of a doghead strategist. Did he already have this plan in mind? Starting from scratch? He probably already had this idea when he gave the Forbidden Region Divine Wall to me as a gift, right? Then what if this sovereign tells you that the Origin Star Core might be related to the Void Battlefield? Wang Feng asked. That's impossible. Demon Monarch Xia was startled. Why is it impossible? Wang Feng said indifferently. Think about it. If there really is an Origin Star Core in the Forbidden Region Divine Wall, will Demon God Shang really let you open it? Even if it is impossible for you to open it. What if? He is a demon god who has lived for so many years. Do you think he has not thought of this possibility? Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and said coldly, this demon god Shang is very likely to have obtained the real news of the Origin Star Core. He used the Forbidden Region Divine Wall as bait and let you take the bait. Even if you only have a 1 in a billion chance of opening the Forbidden Region Divine Wall, even if you can't use the Origin Star Core, will Demon God Shang feel at ease leaving such an important thing in your care? Perhaps Demon God Shang has already anticipated your thoughts. He is waiting for you to dig your own grave. This was what Wang Feng had been thinking about recently. The more he thought about it, the more it made sense. The Origin Star Core was such an awesome thing. Even if it could not be controlled, it must not be touched by other existences to prevent accidents. Otherwise, the divine world, which had been fighting for so long, would be wasted. As a demon god, he could not ignore any small possibility. He would not say anything. Yes, these demon monarchs could not open the Forbidden Region Divine Wall, let alone control the Origin Star Core. So there was no need to worry. The demon gods of the Dark Demon World had lived for countless years. Every one of them had gone through many life and death battles to succeed. They were not like the 5 divine kings of the divine world who were born from the origin of the creation gods and were born as divine kings. It was different. Wang Feng felt that Demon God Shang must have already predicted this. So he would never tell the news of the Origin Star Core to Demon God Dai's subordinates who needed to be cleaned up. The old demon monarchs in the Imperial Demon Army. He would never give them any chance to get it. Maybe Demon God Shang had already gone to look for the real Origin Star Core. When Demon Monarch Xia heard this, he was enlightened and broke out in cold sweat. He exclaimed in his heart, that was close. He looked at Wang Feng and his eyes flickered as if he saw Demon God Dai. That was a peak that countless experts of the Dark Demon World could not cross. And now this peak had not collapsed. Instead, it was even more majestic and magnificent. Get ready. We will go to the Void Battlefield in 3 days. End of chapter. Chapter 14-17. Void Dimension. Somewhere. Tang Sen looked at the small world. Once upon a time, this was a very beautiful world. Although it was small, Tang Sen knew that this small world was bigger and more beautiful than the world he had imagined in his previous life. But now, Tang Sen shook his head. He looked at the battlefield full of corpses and violent energy, and at the divine souls and demonic souls that had nowhere to go. Violent and ferocious auras filled the entire world. Fire, thunder, ice, and the violent energy caused the world to cave in, making the world look like it was experiencing a natural disaster. Why, as a god king, you can't bear to see this scene. You must have killed a lot of people, right? The god world was huge, and there were many smaller planes. Every day in the god world, countless wars would break out in those planes. If I remember correctly, you inherited the position of Azura God King. Do you still have mercy in your heart? A faint voice came from the side. The Imperial Devil Emperor's army stood in neat rows all around like statues. The one who spoke was a handsome soul demon standing in midair. It was Shang Demon God. Tang San was expressionless. He was being escorted to the dark demon realm. As a god king, it was not that easy to be destroyed. Even if the other party was a demon god, even Yama Lord could not kill him directly in the god realm. Yama Lord could destroy the seal of King City with one palm and seriously injure him in Xiaowu. It was already an explosive matter. So, he naturally had to be escorted to the dark demon realm first. God kings were immortal in the god realm. They could be defeated, but they could not be killed by ordinary means. Because the 5 god kings of the god realm were the original consciousnesses that were born at the same time as the god realm. They were born to be awesome. In comparison, the dragon god back then was stubbornly trying to oppose the god realm. In Big Brother Feng's words, that dragon god was stubborn. Unfortunately, although the god realm was strong, it had too many drawbacks. And in the vast universe, there were always stronger beings. Tang Xin sighed in his heart. However, the Imperial Devil Emperor army that was left behind in the divinity world would not have it easy. A murderous intent flashed through Tang San's mind. He had been defeated by the Yama King with a single palm strike, and it had been almost 20 years since he became a god king. That was the only way he could make the god world feel better. As for the rest, he could only leave it to fate and Big Brother Feng. By the way, if I'm not wrong, the information you told me about the Origin Star Core should be fake, right? At this moment, Master Shang Demon looked at Tang San with a faint smile. There is no Origin Star Core in the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall. Am I right? Tang San was taken aback, and then he said lightly, "Is it important whether it's right or not? Even if what I said was false, wouldn't the demon gods of the Dark Devil realm still try to obtain the Star Source Core?" TSK. As expected of the God King, Tang San. How cunning. You've already lost, yet you still have such a move left. Devil Master Shang sneered. You know that if our Dark Devil world wants to control the Divine world, we can only rely on the Origin Star Core. Otherwise, the Divine world will be a piece of meat that is hard to swallow. We've been fighting for so long, but it's all in vain. And you're very smart. You didn't directly say that the Origin Star Core is in the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall, but directly said that the Origin Star Core is in the most secret place in the Divine world. If you let me guess, I can only guess that it's the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall. Unfortunately, when I guessed that it's the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall, I already knew that it's a trick left by you, Tang San. Devil Master Shang suddenly burst into laughter, and there was a bit of complacency in his laughter. In fact, behind the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall, there should be a dangerous thing that's locked up, right? However, you don't know that I beat you at your own game. I let the Demon Emperor army break the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall in the King City of the Divine World, and told them that the Origin Star Core is inside. And those Demon Emperor army, I've long wanted to get rid of them, because those demon monarchs are the remnants of those demon monarchs left behind by Demon Monarch Dai. All these years, they've been struggling at death's door. Relying on the Demon Emperor army's affection, they didn't put me in their eyes. They should have been killed long ago. I've never thought of a good way to get rid of them. Now, I'll use your trick to get rid of them all. And you must have the real news about the Origin Star Core of the Divine World. Devil Master Shang said word by word. When Tang San heard this, his heart was extremely complicated. That's right. He was the one who hinted to Devil Master Shang that the Forbidden Zone Divine Wall contained the Origin Star Core. His original intention was to let Devil Master Shang open it himself. Unexpectedly, Devil Master Shang was so cunning. Not only did he not do that, but he also let the Demon Emperor army do it. That was fine, but Devil Master Shang was also extremely cunning. Not only did he see through everything, but he also used his trick to get rid of the trouble in his heart. These demon gods, each more cunning than the other. Tang San looked at the sky that seemed to be cut open. It was a boundless, dark, starry sky, as if it led to the future of death. As the divine king of the divine world, once he went to the dark demon realm, he would be at the mercy of others. What are you talking about? I don't know. Tang San looked at Devil Master Shang, as if he did not understand a word. You don't know? Devil Master Shang said faintly. Tang San, think carefully. Now you have one more chance to tell me the real location of the origin star core of the divine world. If you play tricks again, be careful of your wife and child. Tang Xin looked at Devil Master Shang faintly and did not even lift his eyelids. Xiao Wu was also a divine king, and her life was connected to his. If she died, you would not be able to survive. Devil Master Shang could not kill her. As for the child, it was ridiculous. Wudong should be in the Douluo world now. Even if the Douluo world should be invaded by the soul demons of the Dark Demon realm, Brother Feng was there. Once Brother Feng was disturbed in the Divine Mountain, Tang San believed that even if these demon gods came to the mortal world, they would have to kneel down. He was not worried at all. To some extent, the Douluo world was much safer than the divine world. Seeing that Tang San did not have any reaction, Devil Master Shang smiled again and said, Tang San, the Dark Demon realm knows you well. Do you think I'm talking about your child in the mortal world? We demon gods will not go to those planes of existence. The child I'm talking about is the one in your wife, Xiao Wu's belly. You don't know yet, right? Your wife is pregnant with your second child not long ago. But your wife is very virtuous. In order not to worry you too much, she did not tell you who was busy fighting against the Dark Demon realm. She even used a special method to hide the child's aura until the two of you were defeated by the King of Hell. It was only when the Imperial Demon Army captured you that we found out. TSK, Tisk, I don't need to say more, right? You should have heard of the methods of the Dark Demon realm, right? Now, are you still willing to tell me? Such a classic and ancient choice, but it will always be very interesting. I want to see how you, Divine King Tang San, will choose. Devil Master Shang looked at Divine King Tang San with a smile. Tang San was in a daze in a chapter. Chapter 1418. The passageway to the Void Domain was 100,000 miles away from the King's City. Since the King's City had fallen, the passageway was naturally occupied by the Demon Emperor army. When Wang Feng entered the special passageway and arrived at the Void Domain, he suddenly felt a slight reaction from his divine ring. It was his first divine ring. His first divine ring was rather special. When he first condensed it, Wang Feng fused his first 4 soul rings together and fused them into this divine ring. At the same time, he also refined his soul power into God power. These 4 soul rings belonged to Long Xie and Lin Lord Bingmu. After they fused, their life soul contracts would naturally change. But they were not removed yet. Since the divine ring had a reaction, it meant that the life soul contracts had a reaction. This meant that Long Xie, Lin Lord Bingmu, and even the Silver Dragon might be in the Void Domain. As long as the life soul contracts existed, the Soul Master and Soul Master would have a reaction. As long as they were not far away, they would be able to sense each other. However, Wang Feng frowned the moment he stepped into the Void Domain. The energy in this small plane was too heterogeneous. It was also very violent. Although it was very strong, it was very difficult to absorb. The immortal spiritual chi in the God world was not only strong, but also milder. This is the Void Domain. Wang Feng looked around and took a deep breath. He was surrounded by a desert. The ground was a mixture of gray and black. The sky was not blue either. It was gray and white, reflecting the ground below. This world was like a black and white world. There were no colors. He could not tell the difference between day and night. There was also no energy source similar to the sun. The entire world seemed a little dark. Wang Feng took a deep breath and could even feel the energy pulsing in his body, causing the God power in his body to become restless. It would be hard to endure if he stayed here for a long time. This is the Void Domain. There were about 30 demon kings following him. The rest were still in the King's City of the God world. Where do you want to go, Your Majesty? Ba Xiao looked around and his eyelids twitched. If we stay here for too long, even our demon kings will be weakened. Fortunately, our god slayers are equally lethal to the gods here. This is one of the fundamental reasons why the Imperial Demon Emperor army could defeat the God realm here. If you want to return to the Dark Devil realm, you have to pass through the Dead Star Sea, Heavenly Ice Swamp, God Burial Blood Tomb, and Devil Bone Forest in the Void Dimension. Every time Ba Xiao mentioned a location, he would subconsciously pause a few times. This place connects two worlds, and the distance needed to cross between the two worlds is also the greatest. Even if we were to travel in a straight line, it would still be over 1,000,000 miles. Of course, according to our Dark Devil World's distance division, over 1,000,000 miles is over 10 times more than the mortal world's 1,000,000 miles. It's pretty far. If you want to avoid it, you'll have to go even further. Wang Feng nodded slightly. Before coming here, he had stayed in the God Realm for another 3 days. Counting the time, it had been a total of 5 days. Almost 5 years had passed in the lower realm. That was fast. During these 3 days, Wang Feng did not remain idle. He spent most of his time cultivating. Because he had obtained his second divine ring, Wang Feng directly reached level 90 in 3 days. However, toward the end, the speed would decrease exponentially. Once one passed level 100, it would be very difficult for Wang Feng to level up several times a day. However, it was probably the first time in the history of the God Realm that someone had obtained a divine ring before reaching level 100. Generally, those with 2 divine rings would be at least level 120. Although he had not reached level 100, even if he was only level 90, with Wang Feng's current strength in controlling the origin, he could even exchange 2 blows with a God King. Under the God King, there was basically no one who could be his opponent. When he reached level 100 and controlled the Origin Calamity God King's 5th Great Origin, his strength would not be much different from his main body. After all, his main body was only level 100. Moreover, his main body did not have divine power or divine rings. However, his main body's martial soul was too strong. The cultivation speed of the God Realm was indeed fast. Moreover, the absorption of divine power for cultivation was on a completely different level from that of the Douluo world. Wang Feng pondered for a few seconds and asked, "Where's the place where the war between you and the God Realm happened?" The check-in location was the Void Battlefield. Naturally, it was the place where the experts of the two worlds fought. It was also where the real battlefield was. In the central netherworld of the Void Domain. That is a bloody zone. Now that it has experienced a war, it should be very dangerous. Demon Monarch Ba Xiai answered. The central netherworld is in that direction, right? Wang Feng leaned slightly to the side. Interesting. His divine ring seemed to be in that direction as well. This meant that Long Xie and Lin Lord Bing Mu might be there. They did not go to the God Realm through the passage opened by the system. Instead, they went to the Void Domain. No, to be precise, the Void Domain belonged to the God Realm. It was a subsidiary world of the God Realm. It was just a special small plane. By the way, you said that the Void Domain is the only passage connecting the Dark Demon Realm and the God Realm. Then, does Demon God Shang have to pass through here to return to the Dark Demon Realm? Wang Feng suddenly asked. Of course. However, with Demon God Shang's speed, he should have reached the Dark Demon Realm already. Demon Monarch Ba Xiai answered without hesitation. I don't think so. Wang Feng shook his head slowly. Hearing this, the Demon Monarchs were stunned. Since he lied to you with the news of the Origin Core, he will not give up on the real one. He will not be willing to return to the Dark Demon Realm just like that. Fiend Celestials were ambitious. Hades, there should be no demon god who does not want to replace you, right? Wang Feng said with certainty. The Demon Monarchs fell silent. Demon Monarch Ba Xia said cautiously, no. Demon God Shang should want to obtain the Origin Core and offer it to Hades to please him. Wang Feng was startled. Isn't he a bootlicker? F***CK, Demon God Dai was so arrogant and domineering. Wang Feng thought that since they were all demon gods, the other 9 demon gods would not be too bad. He did not expect them to be so arrogant. Such a good-for-nothing. What my lord said does make some sense. It is possible that Demon God Shang is here. Demon Monarch Ba Xia looked into the distance solemnly and said in a low voice, We Deicide have a set of special instructions. It is highly intelligent and can connect the minds of us soul demons. The Deicide that the demon gods have is even more powerful. It can directly sense the system of any soul demon below the demon god level. However, the laws of heaven and earth and energy in the void domain are a great hindrance to the transmission of the deicide's mental instructions. Demon god Shang might not be able to sense us. But just now, we sense the deicide's command. It is in the central netherworld. Moreover, it is a call for help. This should not be demon god Shang. The deicide of the dead soul demons in the central netherworld has been collected. There should not be any other soul demon warriors. After demon monarch Ba Xia finished speaking, he and the other demon monarchs looked at each other in confusion. Chapter 1419. Why can't I sense it? I also have God Slayer, but it hasn't been upgraded, Wang Feng asked with a frown. He knew that the special command inside God Slayer was an AI system formed by a complicated program. My lord, your God Slayer is too outdated. Obviously, you got it from other soul demons. It's too different from ours. Moreover, you didn't get the authorization. God Slayer hasn't been upgraded. Many of its functions are much inferior. Some functions don't even exist. Basya coughed. It couldn't be helped. My lord had returned after so long. Dark Demon World had changed too much. Let's go there first. Wang Feng didn't want to delve into this topic. The God-slaying machine was related to the top secret of Dark Demon World. These demon lords didn't know much about it. The group quickly rushed to the central netherworld. The central netherworld was located in the middle of the void domain. At first, it was the most peaceful place in the void domain. It was a place where one could stay for a long time. However, it was precisely because this place had originally been very good that countless lives had been lost after countless battles had occurred. There were gods from the divine world, soul demons from dark demon world, beast gods led by the dragon god, and special otherworldly beings and civilizations that came through the spatial tunnel. Gradually, more and more lives were lost. Naturally, it became very troublesome, because once one died in this place, their souls would be brought back to their respective worlds to be reincarnated. However, the physical body wouldn't dissipate so easily. Some powerful divine artifacts and demonic artifacts would be contaminated by the energy of the void domain and become difficult to use. In short, after every divine war, this place would become very dangerous. Wang Feng relied on the senses of his divine ring as he approached the central netherworld. The closer he got, the more his heart palpitated. This place wasn't a good place for Dragon Evil or Qilin Lord Ice Empress. The divine world was fine. However, Wang Feng had stayed in this place for 5 days. The time here was the same as the divine world. He didn't know what would happen in 5 days. Moreover, Wang Feng remembered that the silver dragon situation wasn't good either. When she came to the divine world, she consumed the dragon god's blood essence. Her mental state became slightly irritable. The desire in her heart was magnified by the dragon god's blood essence. In addition, the energy here was very violent. Under the influence of these two factors, unimaginable changes might occur. He counted in his heart. They had only flown for less than an hour. Wang Feng saw the outline of the central netherworld and its general appearance. This place, Wang Feng moved his lips. It's been a long time since we last met. You've changed a lot. In the past, Demon Lord Dai must have been here before. He might have even participated in the Divine War. But that's for sure. In the past few years, our Dark Devil Realm has fought against the Divine Realm more than once or twice. Moreover, the God Realm had also invested a lot of effort in this place to prevent any unexpected changes. It's a pity that the God Realm isn't strong enough. The Void Elemental Sky domain consumes a lot of the God Realm's energy. So many gods die here every year. Demon Monarch Ba Xia shook his head. Looking down from the sky, the central netherworld in front of them looked like a desert. There didn't seem to be anything special about it. However, there were spatial rifts floating in the air from time to time. Sometimes, there would even be spatial distortions. The energy here was extremely violent. Even these demon monarchs had to circulate their own dark devil power to block the impact of this energy. Long Xie and Qilin Lord Bing Mu shouldn't be able to stay here, right? Wang Fengxian thought with a heavy heart. The feeling was very strong. They should be nearby. Wang Feng's psyche dispersed like the tide. He sensed his surroundings. His psyche projection was greatly hindered. However, Wang Feng's current psyche was too strong. With the undying origin, he wasn't afraid of exhausting his psyche. Therefore, he sensed his surroundings without restraint. Wang Feng sensed many powerful remnant thoughts and consciousnesses surging toward him from all directions. They attacked his psyche like a flood. Be careful, my lord. This is a battlefield. The resentment of those gods and soul demons is extremely strong. When they gather together, it will cause great damage to our psyche. We can't use our psyche to sense our surroundings. Especially at this time, the demon monarchs immediately sensed something. Moreover, waves of resentment had already taken form. Like a long dragon, they were rushing toward them from the netherworld below. It was as if they had locked onto them. This is bad. My lord's psyche has already triggered the resentment of those dead creatures in the netherworld. Demon monarch Ba Xia knew something was wrong. My lord had left the divine realm and dark devil realm for too long. The void elemental sky domain was many times more dangerous than before. No, there's someone below causing trouble. Wang Feng opened his eyes and said coldly, someone is controlling the resentment of the creatures here. If I remember correctly, the demon god related to death in your dark devil realm should be Shang demon god, right? Shang's original intention is death. Take a closer look at this place. Use your deicide to study it. Shang demon god came here not long ago. As for that resentment, don't worry. I can destroy it with just a thought. Demon monarch Ba Xia was stunned for a moment before he reacted. The next moment, the 30 demon monarchs stood in 9 different positions, forming a strange formation. Then they activated the deicide ridge. The deicide ridge of the demon monarchs was naturally far from those low-rank soul demons. The 30 ancient ridges converged into a magical pattern and spread in all directions. Oomph! Wang Feng snorted. His powerful psyche carried several chaotic 8 notes and blasted toward the resentment that soared into the sky. How powerful was his psyche at this moment? Coupled with the Ming sound of the chaotic 8 notes, it was like the evening drum and morning bell that suppressed this resentment that was like a torrent of stars. Wang Feng could even sense the phantoms of countless gods and soul demons in the torrent of resentment. They seemed to be howling and struggling inside. Perhaps those gods whose souls were not brought back in time had their souls hibernated here and formed a special spiritual body over time. A moment later, its Shang demon gods, all demon spirits returned to origin. He actually used such a forbidden technique in the central netherworld. What is he trying to do? At this moment, the 30 demon monarchs opened their eyes at the same time and spat out a mouthful of blood. The deicide ridge shrank back into their bodies. It was as if they were all severely injured. At the same time, a silver figure suddenly appeared in the sky from afar like a stream of light. It brought with it a huge torrent of energy that rose from below. As if it was supported by some kind of power, it was abnormally bright and terrifying in this dark area. It's the silver dragon. Wang Feng's eyes narrowed, and he held his breath. She was indeed here, but she seemed to have changed a lot. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.